Welcome one, welcome all to Bobcat Game Day. We've got a full docket of MAC women's soccer this morning, and it's all leading up to the Quinnipiac Bobcats and Siena Saints clashing at noon, where we'll have the game live for you right here in partnership with QBSN. I'm Nick Boyd. Joining me is Beckett Calkins, Zach Naffa, and Seb Lopes. Gentlemen, how are we doing this morning?
Doing fantastic, Nick. Excited to talk not only Bobcat soccer, not only MAC soccer, we're getting all the way around the NCAA this morning.
Oh, it's going to be a great day, great show. Just overall, gotta love this time of year.
We're about to hit October. What does that mean? That means meaningful soccer is about to hit. Playoff atmosphere soccer is about to hit. What do I love more than soccer? I'm ready for this. Let's go.
And even though it's early in the season, this game might have a playoff feel to it. These are two teams that are really, really good in conference this year. The Bobcats, they're super good. They're coming off the MAC championship. Last time out, we're going to go way back in time to last Tuesday. They wrapped up their non-conference slate against the LIU Sharks. Quinnipiac had been under 500 in non-conference play entering the game, and they were looking for a big momentum boost before starting the brunt of their MAC slate. LIU was coming off their first win of the year against D2 Dominican University after dropping their first 4 games. Meanwhile, Quinnipiac came into this one hot. They're on a 2-game winning streak after taking down Sacred Heart in their first MAC game. First half action. It'll be a free kick from Rachel Roman. Molly Andrews gets ahead on it, and the Bobcats are going to play skee ball in the box here. It rattles around and finds its way to Ella Gagno. Puts a beautiful shot on net in the corner for the goal.
Just a beautiful touch there with the inside of her right boot, kind of flicking it up in the air just past the Sharks goalkeeper, Nick.
Beautiful shot. Gagno with her first goal of the season. Good effort from the keeper, but it wasn't enough. It's 1-0 Bobcats early on. Less than a minute later, they're at it again. Gagno gets the ball, finds Morgan Cupo upfield. She gets a beautiful pass to Courtney Choko, who's going to win the foot race. And when she gets the ball one-on-one in that part of the field, it's wraps for the defense.
Yeah, she's not going to miss. You know what they say, lightning strikes twice, and it strikes fast, especially in Handon. This Bobcats offense can be electric at times. And Courtney Choko, you mentioned, Golden Boot winner. She's not going to miss from there.
Led the team in goals last year. That's her 3rd of the season already. Makes it 2-0 Quinnipiac very early on. On to the second half. Bobcats with the ball again, controlling the offensive part of the field. Tally Lyon gets wide open and splits the gap with a booming shot off the bar from way back to push the lead to 3.
That's a heck of an effort from way outside of the box to be able to put that one into the back of the net. The keeper is diving to her right, but she just can't get her hand on it, which just means perfect technique, hitting the post and putting that one into the back of the net.
Long range shot makes it 3-0 Bobcats. Later in the half, Milena Bronco gets a great ball from Maddie Alves and is going to try to push on the box on the dribble and just snatches the defender's ankles. She gets wide open, but LIU's Keely Thomas makes a diving stop to deny Bronco the goal. Such nasty footwork here from Bronco. Good morning, good afternoon, good night puts her on her feet. Bobcats are going to lock down the 3-0 victory. It's Quinnipiac's 3rd straight shutout win. The Bobcats outshot the Sharks 33-3 as backup goalie Gwen Hoyt gets her first career shutout. Now, let's turn our attention to the Saints. Siena's been off to a red-hot start to their season. They took on the UAlbany Great Danes on Wednesday, looking to keep it that way. The Saints looking to push their winning streak to 3 on Wednesday in the state capital of New York. These two teams are only about 10 minutes from each other, so nice little local rivalry going on. On to the first, Siena was peppering the net with shots all half. Big save there from Emily Dorfman, and the Great Danes diffused the threat.
Yeah, a great job here, just stopping that chance, going down to her right and getting the blockers out in front of it with the mitts.
Shot in the box here from Brianna Neary. It's going to get past Dorfman, but Madison Weiser makes the save to keep it scoreless. Right place, right time for the senior defender, but the Saints just keep on pressuring. Later on in the half, Kate Flanagan pushing downfield. 2 defenders on her back, gets a shot off, and Dorfman goes superwoman to make the save.
Yeah, parallel with the ground on that one. Dorfman doing everything she could to keep UAlbany in this one.
But that wouldn't last. Annie Bagnall off the corner kick. Power header. We don't have a tie anymore. 1-0 Siena. She's been the bane of the Great Danes. Bagnall has scored 3 straight goals in games against UAlbany. How about 2? On to the second half. Bagnall wins the ball, gets wide open, laser beam into the net for her 2nd of the day. A 4-point game for the team captain.
Yeah, that's a heck of an effort. Look, just inside the 18, and she puts the curler into the back of the net. That's a really impressive technique to get done because it's really hard to get done as well.
Bagnall accounting for all of the scoring on the day. Siena holds on for the 2-0 win. They took 29 shots, 21 of them in the first 45, and that is their third straight win. They haven't lost to the U-Albany Great Danes since 2018, so they're dominating that little rivalry there. A fun little tidbit. Both the Bobcats and Saints have now played U-Albany this season during their non-conference slates. Quinnipiac roared to victory in their matchup with the Great Danes last month, winning 3-0 on the backs of goals by Courtney Chokel, Morgan Cupo, and Milena Branco. Now, guys, which win do you think was a little bit more impactful for these programs in the non-conference slate?
I would lean towards Siena's win that we just saw. I think just overall, it's a bigger game for the Saints than it is for the Bobcats. The Bobcats are trying to defend their title. The Saints are kind of trying to get back into that rhythm of playing winning, meaningful soccer.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd say head coach Dave Clark's talked about stacking up that non-conference schedule, and I think this is a game where he wanted to kind of use it as a measuring stick for his team, whereas the Saints kind of wanted to use this to get their momentum going.
This is big for Quinnipiac. They had some struggles really early on, so they really need a big win to get them going and to kind of know what they have.
Yeah, I'm going to go Siena, winning a game in a nice little local rivalry. Now, we're just a quarter of the way into the season, but let's check out the league standings through today. It's going to be the Fairfield Stag up top. Canisius at 5-1-1, and then it's Siena in third with a 5-4 record and 2 MAC wins. Bobcats are all the way down in 6th behind Marist and Niagara. Purple Eagles drew with Ryder their last time out. That's what's got them in 5th despite their 5 wins. And the Bobcats are being held back because they've only played 1 conference game. And welcome to the MAC Merrimack. The Warriors are the only other team with a win in league play after they beat St. Peter's in their last game. Now, guys, like we've seen, Siena is a much different team than last year, and they're undefeated in MAC play coming in. They already look like a playoff threat in the early going, too. What do you guys expect from them this year? Beckett, we'll start with you.
I mean, I think you just saw the standings, right? There are a lot of teams that are undefeated, 2-0, 1-0, whatever it is. It's early in MAC play. I'm not quite buying into Siena right yet. I would say they're going to be a similar team to what they were last year. I do believe that they'll take a little bit of a step up, but this is a team that was preseason number 9 in the conference. And with the MAC expanding to 8 playoff teams this year, I think they'll probably sneak in the playoffs around maybe the 7 or the 8 overall seed. They beat 2 kind of bottom tier MAC teams, in my opinion, in Iona and Mount St. Mary's. But I just think Siena, good team. I wouldn't say they're rebuilding, but I would say they're retooling, and they're doing that successfully, just not quite there yet.
I think their expectation should be just around an above 500 average. I mean, their last good year was 2020-21 when they won the MAC regular season and then went on to take the MAC championship against Monmouth 4-2 in Penns. Then after that, they had a decent year in 2021 with a 9.92 overall. Not so great in 2022, 2-11-5, and then kind of just meh in 2023. 4-9-4, but this season they're really kind of living up to their expectations. They're 5-4 in all competitions, and they're exceeding so far in the MAC, being undefeated at 2-0.
Yeah, I would say that a MAC tournament berth is definitely the expectation. I think the highest, the ceiling for that would be at least 1 win in the MAC tournament. They finished 8th last year, picked 9th in the preseason poll, but they've got a young core. Catherine Rogers and reigning MAC Rookie of the Year Megan Stoll, they're a 1-2 punch, leading the MAC in points first and tied for 3rd. I just think that this is a team that's on the rise, and as you mentioned, with that expanded playoff format, this team might not have made it. I think this team is definitely going to make it this year.
Zach, I do see where you're going, right? I do think they will get in that playoff format with the reconstructed option this year, but I think this is a team that is kind of being unfortunately played by their schedule right now, right? So they have to play Quinnipiac, Fairfield, and then Merrimack. 3 straight games right now. If you put those games at the end of the season, I say, oh, maybe Siena with a little more experience can pull out a win, maybe a draw in those games. Looking at it right now, those are 3 really tough games for a young Saints team that, sure, they have a little bit of confidence after winning back-to-back MAC games, but I don't see it happening right now.
See, I'm buying into them a little bit more. I really like that young core. I think that benefits them. It gives them a fresh start that they didn't have last year, especially like you just saw Catherine Rogers. She has been dominant in MAC play so far. And, you know, they have a coach who's been there for a while. They have a really, really strong soccer program. You mentioned they won a title very recently. And I think that I agree with the tempered expectations. I don't think they're going to go out and be the 1 seed. I don't think they're going to,
And rightfully so.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to take on Quinnipiac or Fairfield for that top 2 spots, but I think they could sneak in with a 4 seed. I think they could be a 5 seed this year if they can really prove that this early going isn't a fluke. I think that they have a really good shot to make the playoffs and have a successful run.
Nafa mentioned it, but talking about the kind of classes that these players are in, they have 12 undergrads and 13 upperclassmen. Talking about the upperclassmen first, I think that's plenty of people to still put together a really good season for them, that they can, just push over that 500 mark and make a decent amount of noise in the playoffs. And then talking about the 12 undergrads, it's brilliant for them because they're going to have the opportunity this season to learn from them, get more experience, get more just kind of smarter in terms of ball knowledge and their split decision making when it comes crucial for next season. So this could prove massive for the 12 undergrads if they can have a great season coming up in this next year or two.
Yeah, well, one of the biggest reasons that Siena has turned things around this season has been freshman phenom Catherine Rogers. We just talked about her. Q30's Brandon Murdoch has more.
Today, the Quinnipiac Bobcats take on the Siena Saints in MAC action. This is the first time the two teams have faced off since October 14th, 2023, a Bobcats 3-2 win. This Saints team, however, has some new faces, such as first-year Catherine Rogers, that the Bobcats will have to prepare for. Head coach Steve Karbowski has this to say about Rogers.
She's a good all-around player. I mean, she's a great athlete, strong fitness level, good on the ball, makes good runs, puts herself in good positions to score goals in different ways. So pretty complete for a freshman, just 5-6 weeks into her college career.
Rogers leads the team in scoring with 6 goals and 4 assists on the season. And despite the success that Rogers has had early on in her career, Karpowski certainly acknowledges the challenges that await him in Hamden.
Yeah, they've been the champs for a reason. They got good players. They're always well organized, from the coaching staff. So it's going to be a tough game.
While he understands today's game will be tough with all the attributes that the Bobcats will be able to bring to their home field, Karbowski knows the importance of playing your best when conference play comes around.
Yeah, I think, now that we're into MAC season, conference play, all the games are important. You're of course, you want to play your best as you get into the conference play.
This will certainly be quite the duel between these two MAC rivals. Reporting for Q30 Sports, I'm Brandon Murdoch.
We've got to take a quick break here on Bobcat Game Day, but stick around. The pregame show is just getting started.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
I debate all day. It's what I do. But there are some things that are undebatable, like your mental health. I was in a dark place when my brother passed away in a car accident. I was depressed in ways I never imagined. I reached out, and my sisters came, my pastor, my therapist. They helped me get through it. I found that the more I spoke up, the healthier my mind became. When you love your mind, you can go so much further. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Welcome back to Bobcat Game Day. Last season, Bobcats forward Morgan Kupo went down with a season-ending leg injury. But this season, she's back and having a career-best start to her season. Connor Core has more on the story on her dominant return to the pitch.
It was such a normal day, and then like your life changes in like a matter of seconds.
Sobbing on the sideline, crying, only one crying.
For Quinnipiac's Morgan Kupo, it's a day that she will never forget.
And I didn't really come to terms with it for a little bit.
A broken foot and a sophomore season gone, Kupo didn't even know what was going on until it was too late.
I was just sitting there and I was like, why is everyone running away from me? And then I looked at my foot and I was like, okay, it's sideways. Like, I guess people don't want to see that.
Andrews is Kupo's roommate and was worrying about everything except one thing, the game.
Obviously something's not right. She's got to go to the hospital, so I was freaking out. And then I had to go in for her, which was something I wasn't expecting right away.
The next week was an adjustment, relearning how to do all of the basic functions that you previously took for granted.
But after that, like, it was nice because I had so many distractions. Like, I was coming back to school, I was able to do like upper body lifts and like be with the team and like go to games.
I had to help her with everything. I had to help her change, shower, get in and out of bed. A lot of things that you wouldn't think would be so hard, but just physically she couldn't do it. So I was there for her a lot of the time, being her roommate, but also just being a good friend of hers, helping her get to class, get food, all the little things that were really hard for her.
That offseason, Kupo had to remind herself of what the long-term goal was for her, getting back on the field.
And it wasn't really the spring, but it was the fall, and it's like October and November when the games, everything really matters, and we're trying to get into playoffs and we're trying to get to the NCAA tournament. So all that is really what I was looking forward to. And
it's easy for someone to feel sorry for Kupo and her situation, rightfully so, but that's the last thing that she wanted.
When I injured, it's like everyone gets injured and all they talk about is like, oh, everyone feels so bad for me, like, what am I gonna do? And everyone like babies you, and I think that was like what I didn't want to happen, because like everyone experiences things, whether it's an injury or when you're working through something mentally, and I think it was just getting through it yourself, but also with your friends, and just, yeah, not really talking about it, but just doing it.
Coaches and players on the team say that she's the happiest person on the team, despite the injury.
A little surprising, because I don't think I would have personally, if I was in that position, been able to be as happy as she was, but every day she was up and at it, happy to be with anyone on the team and included in anything that we were doing.
Fast forward to the first day of September of this year, a moment that she would finally be able to take a breath.
Pretty much showed me like to keep going, and that everything I was doing was worth it, and all the struggles that I went through, like, you're able to come out of it and to be better than you were before.
She definitely deserved it. She earned it. All the hard work she's done the past year to get back to where she is today. I was just very happy for her. I think she deserved it more than anything.
Thank you, Connor. So with Kupo back, we're going to play a little game and try to predict what her stat line is going to be this year. We're on the odds. We're going to start it with goals. So once they get the full screen up, we're going to see what that number's at and see whether you guys are taking the over or under. The line is 8.5 goals for the season for Morgan Kupo. Zach, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so it shows currently at 2 goals through 11 games played. She's second on the team in shots and just needs to get more on goal. I think she's going to go over that 8.5 number. She also plays in the box a lot. A couple more bounces, a couple more chances are going to lead to her getting a few more goals.
Okay, at least 9 goals for you, Zach. Beckett?
I think the line's just too high. If it was something around 6.5, you might have me at the over. I'm going to go with the under on this one. I think 8.5 is just pushing it, especially this season.
Yeah, I have to agree on the under. I mean, just barely on the under, because I think she will finish with 7 goals, maybe even 8. She's averaging right now with 1 goal every 2 games, or every 3 games, as she has 2 goals in 6 games. So, I mean, Courtney Choco is still the main forward option. She's going to kind of have some struggles to get that 8 or 9 goals.
I think Kupo's going to take a couple more of those opportunities away from Choco when it gets into MAC play. You're talking about this a little bit more of a stacked non-conference schedule compared to a MAC. The MAC is a good soccer conference. It's not a great soccer conference. Kupo's going to have a lot more chances when it comes to conference play.
I see what you guys are saying, though, because last year, Clark talked a lot about spreading the offense around and not making 1 or 2 people the focal points of the offense. And I think the second leading scorer on the team last year was Lily Schneiders with 5. So I see what you guys are saying. Love the enthusiasm, though, Zach. Like, Kupo, she's shown that she can score. I think that she's going to have a very good season. But so 1 over, 2 unders for the goals. We'll jump to the next stat line now. I believe it's going to be assists. Will Morgan Kupo have more than 3.5 assists? We'll start on the other end of the table. Seb.
Yeah, this one I'm going to take the over. I think she finishes with 5 or 6. Assists are way more achievable to get than goals. It's a little bit easier to do. You just have to have good distribution, good passing, and you have to find the right times to put that ball through into the path of your forward or your midfielder, whoever's up there, to put that goal in the back of the net. So I think taking the over here is much more realistic.
Yeah, I think Nick just said it best, right? They like to spread the offense around, especially on that second option going forward. I'm going to take the over in this one, too. I think 3.5 is a really, really good line. I think she'll have at least 4 assists pretty easily, Zach.
I think 3.5 is a generous line. I'm hammering the over on this one. 3.5 assists. I know she only has 1 assist so far. I know. Through 11 games. But again, she plays in the box. One corner kick that goes off her leg into a teammate of hers that ends up in the back of the net, that's an assist. Those opportunities are going to come. I've seen the playmaking ability. That pass to Courtney Chokol in that LAU game that you saw in the highlight earlier was perfect. She's going to get over that 3.5 assists.
And like we said about spreading the ball around as they like to do, what does that mean? That means people are going to be getting touches on the ball, which means assists are going to be coming.
Yeah, and she sends those balls, like you said, way up the field, and Bobcats like to run and gun a little bit. So I think that, yeah, I agree. She'll hit the over on this one. Next stat line is going to be minutes played. We'll see how many the line is set at. 1,140 and a half.
This one was a tough one for me. She's at 362 minutes so far. I think just barely she's going to hit that over. And if you're keeping track, that's all the overs for me. Hammering the over on everything Morgan Kupo. She's just a stud for this Bobcats team. She's going to lead them to another MAC title.
You came prepared with props and everything. You're bought in, man.
Hammering the overs.
How about you guys?
Zach, man, they said that tails never fails. Well, I came up with a little something on myself. The under. It always prevails. Almost always, that is. I will go with the under in Morgan Kupo's minutes. I think over 1,000 is pretty reasonable. Just you get over that 1,100 mark, that is a lot of minutes, especially for a player returning from an injury.
Do you think she's going to average 70 minutes the rest of the year? 70 minutes a game.
So far this season, she's averaging about 60 minutes a game, and I don't think that's going to increase by that much.
These games don't matter as much as the MAC ones, though. The conference games are going to matter more. She's going to play more.
But, Zach, you also said it yourself. It's a tough non-conference schedule, right? They go into the MAC. Maybe they're blowing some of these teams out. Dave Clark does like to spread the distribution out and get his bench into games.
It's absolutely going to be the under. I mean, I did the math on this one. This would mean that she has to average at least 70.8 minutes per game. There's no way that they're going to play her that many minutes coming off of an injury. She's going to be resting. The most minutes that she's gotten is 68 against LIU last game.
They're cutting down her minutes now, though.
Hold on, but she's only played 63 minutes in 3 games this season and 52 and 53 in the first game and then the second.
You're right. In the non-conference schedule. These games, you said it yourself at the top of the show, that this is when the games matter the most. Like playoff atmosphere, I'm sorry, folks. These are when the games matters most. And Kupo is going to be playing. She's, if not their best player, their second best player.
I get that, but Chokol is still the main forward option. She's going to be getting way more minutes than Kupo is. Kupo has to, prove something to get it. She's going to prove something, but she's just not going to play 70.8 minutes every single game this season.
Zach, I'm going to take the hammer with you on this one because I'm going to hammer the over
That's right.
on minutes played.
Thank you, Nick.
Dave Clark has talked about in the past how he likes to use these non-conference games kind of like a secondary preseason. And I think that by the time they get into the heart of conference play, they will push her up to 70 minutes a game because not only is she, good on the offensive end, scoring and assists, she's also a very good defensive forward. She's got the size advantage on a lot of the other forwards in the conference, and Quinnipiac loves to harp on the fitness and physical fitness of their team. I think she'll easily pass 1,200 minutes on the season. Last stat line that we have for you. Overall for the Quinnipiac Bobcats as a team, 13.5 wins.
Thank you for my hammer back. They're hammering the over once again. This team, if you're keeping track, I know Seb's going to bring it up. That means they'd have to go undefeated the rest of the year. When's the last time they lost a MAC game? When's the last time?
They haven't lost one in 2 years.
In 2 years, they're not losing again. Hammer the over. They're going undefeated. Regular season MAC champions. What do you think, Beckett? What do you think? Take the.
Oh, do I get it now?
Hammer it.
If you're gonna hammer it.
The under strikes again.
Give me that.
Zach.
Give me that.
Let's be honest here. This is a team. They're not going to win. They're not going to win every single game. Here's the thing, right? they are going to draw at least one game. I'm not
here we
saying
go
they're
with
going
the
to
draws
lose. You
again.
know I love my ties, Zach.
Oh.
I'm not ready
Where's
to
Brady
say
Mullen?
that they're going to take over 13.5. I think 12.5 is a much better line. I probably would have taken the over. 13 wins sounds about right for the Bobcats this year.
There's
Seb?
just all
Seb?
right.
Seb?
So I get the privilege
Are
now.
you
huh?
gonna- are you
yeah,
gonna
Hold
hammer?
on, hold on. I'm gonna have to hammer the under.
Oh
All
my
right.
God.
This means they have to go undefeated, Zach. They're playing Fairfield at home.
Thank you.
They're playing-
You lost hammer privileges.
Come on.
You were supposed to hammer the over. You don't deserve
Oh
the
my
hammer.
goodness.
Listen, they're playing Fairfield away. Yes, it's the last game of the season. Yes, it might not matter. But then they play Canisius in 5 games from now after today's game, which means that Canisius is 3-0-1 at home. They haven't lost a game at home this season. Quinnipiac is not going to be able to sneak away with a win.
Please, will you accept this hammer?
I want to hammer the over with you. Even last season, when this team, and I think last season's team was a better team than this season's team, they had that one tie at the end of the year. But I'll join you on the party. Give me 14 wins for these Bobcats.
Hammer the over.
Give me 14
folks.
wins for these Bobcats.
Life's too short to take the under.
Maybe if we're counting postseason wins.
Yeah,
if we're
postseason wins will count to the
counting
equation.
But
Postseason
it
wins
was
will
written
count.
as
It was
regular
written
season
as-
wins.
Yeah,
We can count
regular
postseason
season
wins in the
wins, they're not
equation.
going undefeated. There's a draw at least in there.
I love the enthusiasm from this
Give
side
me
of the desk.
17 wins. Then. I'll hammer that over too.
And another MAC title, would you hammer that?
I,
All right, there we go. So NAFA's bought all in. The Bobcats' identity the past few seasons has been smothering defense, but they lost 3 of their best defensive players in Kayla Mangachos, Markayla Bailari, and Olivia Scott to graduation this offseason. How can the team try to replicate their impact on the back line with the players that they have now? Seb, you want to get us started?
Yeah, I think the back line is going to be just fine, and they're going to succeed as the season goes along. They have one junior in Molly Andrews who will be just fine. She's flexible. She can play as a midfielder, too. They have 2 seniors in the back line. Just speaks of the knowledge and just kind of the experience that is in that back line with Madison Manlure and Tally Leone. And then one graduate back there in Victoria Foster. And believe this or not, one sophomore has impressed enough in all 6 games to get over 25 minutes in every game. That's Caroline Mazik, who has played 43 minutes as her highest tally of minutes, and her lowest is, of course, as I said, 25. And then you have Sofia Lospinozo between the pipes. She has 6 goals against, 20 saves, a .769 save percentage. I think they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think this back line is going to be perfectly fine for Quinnipiac. Obviously, they lost a lot of impactful bodies and a lot of fantastic defenders, but think about how many fantastic defenders have come through Hamden in the Dave Clark era. I think that's what sticks out to me. I'm not saying that these players are a replica of the system or a product of the system, but Dave Clark knows how to put his players in positions that will succeed.
Yeah,
and I think that's one thing that the Bobcats do.
Dave Clark's the Bill Belichick of women's MAC
I
soccer.
wrote that in my notes, word for word.
Bill Belichick of women's MAC soccer. This defensive system of his is a masterclass. And you know what? I don't have to talk about Mandler, Foster, Lyon. You guys kind of touched on that. All great players replacing the Tri-Defensive Players of the Year. Maddie Alves is just an instrumental piece in their success this year. For those of you who are men's soccer fans, she's similar to TJ Wilder. Got offensive skill but can play in the back line. For you international and women's soccer fans, Crystal Dunn. Crystal Dunn is my player comp for Alves. When Crystal Dunn plays on the U.S. women's national team, she plays on the back line, but she has such a great offensive mindset. And Alves does the same thing. She's a sheer force, speed, and physicality, but she's also disciplined and has the potential to be the best defender in the MAC by next season.
And Zach, you mentioned that offensive side of the ball, right? This team's offense, Quinnipiac's offense, they can take the pressure off that defense that will really, really support the Bobcats going forward.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think Clark's scheme is the real reason that this team has a ton of defensive success. For the Bobcats, it's MAC play the rest of the way. Next week, they'll hit the road and take on St. Peter's and Ryder in New Jersey. If you remember, Ryder was who the Bobcats faced in the MAC semifinals last season. They beat them 1-0. Once the calendar turns to October, the Bobcats have a 2-game homestand against Niagara and Marist before heading up north to face Canisius. Probably the most anticipated game on the schedule is going to be the matchup at Fairfield. The Stags are the biggest threat to the Bobcats' chance at three-peating, and they don't play each other until the last game of the regular season on October 30th. That game should have a real playoff vibe, guys. Now, we've got to take another break here on Bobcat Game Day. The pregame show continues when we come back.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused.
A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out that self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and your mental health.
Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Welcome back to Bobcat Game Day. We'll toss it down to QBSN broadcasters Brittany Braun-Lieben and Zach Tarenko. Got keys to the game for both.
We are here in Hamden for women's soccer between the Quinnipiac Bobcats and the visiting Siena Saints here on QBSN. It is also Bobcat Game Day. It's a big event and a big game. These two teams, Quinnipiac coming in 3-2-1, won their last 3 games and are 1-0 in MAC play with that 2-0 win against Sacred Heart. The Siena Saints come in at 5-4, also on a 3-game winning streak. They have 2 MAC wins against Iona 6-0 and Mount St. Mary's 5-1. I'm Zach Tarenko alongside Brittany Braun-Lieben. And Brittany, look at these two teams, pretty much the biggest opponent that the Bobcats have had so far this season. What do you expect to see from the Bobcats and maybe a couple of players that might step ahead and be a big key opponent for them?
For the Bobcats, I'm really expecting a high offensive effort. Obviously, we saw Courtney Choco, Morgan Cupo, all on the offensive side, scoring goals against LIU and making big plays. I think they're going to continue to make big plays on the offensive side, and I'm excited to see their defense. Obviously, we're going to see in goal Sofia Lospinoso. I think she's going to have a strong game. From the Siena, I'm really excited to see Megan Stowell and Catherine Rogers. They both scored the goals against Iona in their matchup. Big goals also against UAlbany. I think they're going to step up for both teams and be able to make big plays, and the Bobcats aren't going to be ready for it.
You mentioned the Siena Saints in their last 3 games are 13-1 in terms of goals forward to goals against. They've been on that scoring attack. The Bobcats in their last 3 games have a combined score of 8-0. Both teams are playing their best soccer right now. It seems like it's going to be a big matchup. Looking at the history of these two teams, the Quinnipiac has won the last 3 matchups, and the last meeting was at Siena, and it was probably the toughest game Quinnipiac had all year last year. They were tied 2-2 going into the 80th minute when Ella Gagno scored a game-winning goal. Just a really big matchup for them. But looking at more of a score prediction for this game, tell me a little bit what you think is going to happen in this one, who you think the winner is going to be, and maybe, that one player that might have that key goal.
Zach, I think this game's going to be 3-2 Bobcats. I think Siena's a very young team, very experienced team. They're younger, but they're probably like a more experienced team. I think they're going to be able to score against Sofia Lospinoso, but I think the Bobcats are going to win 3-2, and Courtney Choco is going to score the game-winning goal.
All right, that's a good prediction. For me, I'm going to have to go with the Siena Saints here. The Siena Saints in their last few games have been incredibly great when it comes to scoring in the second half. They've been very, very strong. They are 11 of 18 in goals in the second half, 9 of 13 in their last few games. They have been really key when it comes to scoring. I think Catherine Rogers and Megan Stowell are going to come out big for them. I think the Siena Saints win this one 2-1 in a big matchup. That's all we have for you here in Hamden. We'll send it back to the studio.
Thank you, guys. Now, a lot of teams around the country are off to some hot starts, and we're going to take Bobcat Game Day National. We're bouncing around the NCAA women's soccer landscape, and you guys are going to tell us how much stock we should buy into these team starts. All right, ready?
Let's get it.
Ready? First team on the board is the Georgetown Hoyas. Zach, start us off.
All right, let's get that meter going. Little more on it, little more, and we're going to stop it right about there.
Okay, dead center.
Some moderate hype on the Hoyas. They got 10 votes in the latest poll. Had a draw against number 9 Penn State, and that loss to Pepperdine, it's not as, it's a little bit more of a bad taste. They have home games against St. John's and Xavier coming up in the Big East Conference schedule, but this team might win the Big East. I don't know if I really have that full confidence in them yet.
So you're about middle, guys, quick. How do you feel about them?
Moderate hype is exactly where I would put them as well. They did defeat these very Quinnipiac Bobcats 5-0 in D.C. earlier on this year. Like Zach said, that Pepperdine loss against a very up-and-down Pepperdine squad, and then draws versus 2 big-time schools in Penn State and South Carolina. I think Georgetown right in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, right around the middle is perfect. The 6-8-8. win percentage, the tie with a ranked Penn State team, and then the loss to Pepperdine 2-1. And then they haven't played a conference game yet, so it's really hard to just kind of judge them based on that. So right around the middle for me.
Yeah, those both seem like fair takes. We'll jump to the next team on the docket. Oh, Beckett, it's your Auburn Tigers.
I mean, that is a beautiful logo right there. The navy blue outlined by the
meter
beautiful
going.
orange stroke. Let's get the meter going, and let's keep it going. Overhyped, no. Moderate hype, no. All the way up through the roof. Keep it going as far red as we can get here. We know
Crimson
red's not
Tide
my
red?
favorite color. We don't need to talk about that. This team is a wagon. They haven't lost all season, Nick. The only knock on this Auburn Tigers squad is that they struggled last year. So if you're saying the transition year, I don't care about that. This 2024 Auburn squad is electric, and they could easily win the SEC and maybe go further, Zach.
Oh. Beck, you ever been to Auburn?
No, unfortunately, it's on the bucket list.
You know what rings from Sanford Hall Clock Tower every day at noon?
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
War Eagle, fly down the field, ever to conquer, never to yield. These Auburn Tigers, they are for real. 4th in the nation in goals per game. Quality wins over Ohio State and Clemson. They got Olivia Woodson, Anna Haddock, and Carly Thatcher, plus Shelby Salee coming over from Xavier to lead the offense. You mentioned Beckett. I think they're winning the SEC. You know what else I think? I think this team is going to the Division I Women's College Cup. Cary, North Carolina, December 6th. They will be in the Final Four. They can compete with these ACC powerhouses.
It's on my calendar, Seb.
This team is going far. They've shut out every game that they've played so far except their SEC opener, which ended in a draw.
All right, let's move on to the next squad on the board. Going to break. Okay, thank you. Welcome back. We're going to have to take a quick break here on Bobcat Game Day. We'll be back after this.
Our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce. We all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
So, guys, we get a full MAC slate of soccer today. 10 other MAC teams are in action this afternoon. The Rider Bronx, the only team off. We're going to go predict the game that we're covering here, Siena at Quinnipiac. Seb, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'm taking Quinnipiac with a 2-1 win. This game is going to be full of necessary defense. The teams need to lock in. You need to make sure that you're pushing your guys to the absolute outside of the pitch, laying no one inside the middle, and make sure that you keep your person away from goal side.
Yeah, I fully agree. I'm going Quinnipiac as well, Zach. Real quick, this is a team in Siena, I said it before, they're not rebuilding, they're retooling, and they're not quite there yet. They're young, they're inexperienced at some positions. For Siena to win this game, they need to play very calm, very collected. I don't quite think they're there yet. They have to play strong defensive soccer. I don't see that happening. The Bobcats are going to look to push. They're going to look to play up tempo, take their chances, and they're going to outscore Siena.
I mean, I already mentioned I think they're going undefeated, so obviously I have to take the Bobcats with this one. The goal for them today is just containing Rogers and Stoll. They got to limit those shots. We mentioned earlier, the Saints love to shoot it. The Bobcats' back line is going to be tested today, but as long as they maintain possession, they can win this game. And for Siena, You want to push tempo. You want to be aggressive on offense. You want to test that back line. Play a couple balls over the top, through balls. You might hit on one of those Hail Mary passes, and next thing you know, you're in alone on Lo Spinoso. And she's a great goaltender, but it's hard to do that for 90 minutes.
Yeah, like you just said, that's a difficult task. Listen, Bobcats, the reigning MAC champions, back-to-back. They're going for the three-peat this year. They're a juggernaut. Siena's on the up-and-coming. And you know what? I said I like them earlier. I like them. I think that they take this one. I'm putting the Bobcats on upset alert today. I think it's going to be offensive shootout like you said, right? And like you said, Siena's going to pepper with a ton of shots. They're going to pepper with so many shots on net. So I think at least a couple of those are going to go in. I think Siena can take this one 3-2, maybe goes to extra time. And yeah, I got the Saints. I'm riding with them.
We'll see.
I'm riding with them.
Siena, they scored 11 goals in their last 2 games. Quinnipiac, 8 in their last 3 games. So this could be an offensive just explosion or a defensive game.
Yeah, let's take it outside of Hamden now. Merrimack, Iona. I'm going with the Warriors. Road victory, new team in the MAC. I think they're going to dominate Iona.
Yeah, Zach, I'm going to disagree with you on this one, and I'm going to go with the home team. The Iona Gales are going to get this done. Look at that beautiful logo up there.
I have to take a draw. I think both teams, Merrimack 3-4-1, Iona 2-5-2. They're kind of just not getting the right clicking going so far, so a draw for me.
I'm going Merrimack. They got their first MAC win last week. Iona is not a great team. I think they take it.
You guys are doubting the Gales.
Yeah, I am. Not buying in on them. Fairfield and Niagara is the next game on the docket. Nafa?
Ooh, I was actually looking at Canisius and St. Peter's. But Fairfield, Niagara, I'm going to go with Fairfield. Mentioned earlier, probably the biggest threat to the Bobcats' MAC title defense. I got to take the Stags.
Stags, that's all it is.
It's Fairfield. They're 7-1, 2-0 in MAC. They're probably going to win the MAC.
Yeah, Stags are. Whoa, okay. Whoa, all right. Getting a little hot and spicy here. Okay, damn. I'm going to take the Stags as well. Purple Eagles are a very good team. Stags are going to take it.
It's going to be Quinnipiac. Come on, Seb.
I don't see the
Bobcats
Stags.
are winning the MAC.
The
Bobcats are going 3-peat.
I think Fairfield.
I just said under 13.5. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, all right. Canisius St. Peter's down in Jersey. Nafa, how you feeling about them?
Golden Griffins fly high. I'm taking Canisius.
Yeah. Canisius, they've won 4 straight games, including back-to-back MAC wins over Merrimack and Manhattan. Golden Griffins all day.
It's my beautiful state of New Jersey, but it's going to Canisius. They're 9-4-5. They're just rolling right now.
Yeah, Canisius was a great team last year. They're a great team this year. They're going to win in a shutout.
Wow, sweep across the
board.
board.
Clean sweep.
Like that.
Moving on, I believe Shoe Manhattan is the next game on the docket.
I thought about taking Sacred Heart for their first MAC victory. I had to go with the home team in the Jaspers. Got to give me Manhattan. I don't believe in the Pios that much.
Zach, this wouldn't just be Sacred Heart's first MAC victory. This would be their first win all season in 2024. Give it to me. I know the fan poll says 54% Sacred Heart, but I'm taking the upset. It's got to be the Pioneers. Sacred Heart gets it done. First win of the season. First MAC win.
I like the way you think.
There's just no way that a team that hasn't won a game this year is going to go win one.
But all
on
their
the
games
road.
have been close.
On the road.
All their games
right?
have been
So
close.
give
Every
me
one
Manhattan.
2 games.
I'm agreeing with Beckett on this one. Sacred Heart's getting their first one of the year. Marist and the Mount also playing later today. We'll get to them at halftime. And with that, it's just about time for kickoff here in Hamden. Do you guys want to go through Marist and Mount? We have a little bit more time than we thought.
Red Foxes, Marist going into the Mount and taking the victory.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of disagree with you on this one. I think the home team wins it here. Mount St. Mary's gets it done quick, Seb.
This is another one like Merrimack, Iona that they're just kind of not rolling quite yet. Neither team has clicked, so this is either a draw or Mount St. Mary's.
Give me Marist on the road. I'm going with the Red Foxes.
All day long.
Now we're going to toss it over to the call. Brittany Braun-Lieben and Zach Tarenko will have the game live for you. We'll be back here for the halftime show right here on Q30 TV. It's all yours, Brittany and Zach. We'll see you after the first 45.
alongside my color analyst, Brittany Braun-Lieben, for a great matchup. As you know, today is also Bobcat Game Day. We are super excited to have that pregame, half-game, and post-game coverage in the studio. But it is almost time here, Brittany, and these two teams are getting ready to go. Both teams on 3-game win streaks, both trying to go home this evening with a 4-game win streak. What do you expect to see from the Bobcats first, and then what do you expect to see from the Saints?
What I'm expecting to see from the Bobcats, again, is another strong offensive effort. I think they're going to be able to control the midfield like they normally do, able to get those passes connected, and you'll be able to get in their scoring position and get the ball in the back of the net. From Siena, I'm also expecting a similar thing. Siena, is a younger team compared to the Bobcats, where the leaders on the Bobcats team are more grad students, juniors, and seniors. For Siena, we have a lot more freshmen who stepped up on this team. I also think that they're going to be able to have a great showing today, having players like their first-year goalkeeper, Kate Burns, step up in the back of the net.
Should be an exciting one. The Bobcats looking to get going here. Some news that we have, as you may have heard or seen in the starting lineups, if you are looking at the stats online. No Clara Bengtsson today. The first year from Sweden is out today. So Anna Costello, number 14, takes her spot. The rest of the starting lineup is the same for the Bobcats. And as you mentioned, the first years for Siena have really been the key for the Saints. And there's one player that we can name, that's Catherine Rogers. Catherine Rogers has had an incredible start to her first campaign, her first year with the Saints, and is looking like she's heading towards a MAC Rookie of the Year season. 6 goals, 4 assists for 16 points. 3 games with 2+ points, and 6 points in her last 3 games, and hasn't played a full 90 minutes either, making that even more impressive. Well, team's getting ready to start here. And I'm Zach Turenko alongside Brittany Braun-Lieben here on QBSN in conjunction with Q30 for their Bobcat Game Day. 3-2-1 Bobcats taking on the 5-4 Siena Saints. Siena a little bit deeper into their season than the Bobcats. They've played 2 MAC games already, beat Iona 6-0 and Mount St. Mary's 5-1. The Bobcats' only MAC game this season is a 2-0 win over Sacred Heart here a few weeks ago. In that game, the 2 attacking powerhouses for the Bobcats, Courtney Chokol and Morgan Kupo, got the goals. We'll see if they can continue that today. Bobcats will start with the ball. 90 minutes of soccer action about to come up here in Hamden. And off the draw quickly, Foster sends that one deep into the zone. A header goes backwards for Siena. And Siena finds himself deep in their zone, trying to be cleared away. Morgan Kupo now on the left side. Courtney Chokol trying to work her way through. Good defensive play there and sent away by Cam Vanderbosch, the junior, out of Lancaster, New York, for the Saints. Siena has been very strong this year when it comes to counterattacks. You'll expect to see some long balls played through up top, especially to Rogers and Megan Stoll, the sophomore forward. On the far side now, Molly Andrews, that ball was too far to reach for a throw-in near the corner flag for Siena. Molly Andrews now looking for the cross opposite a Siena defender and sent out again. Tally Lyon with the throw-in. Costello blocks that one down, fighting for it now near the goal line, again out of bounds near the Bobcat logo on the far wall. Lyon with another throw-in. Costello tries to keep that one in. They'll say out of bounds. Goal kick for Kate Burns, who you mentioned, Brittany. First-year goalkeeper out of Spencerport, New York.
played and started in 7 games this season, the 7 most recent games, with a .86 goals against and a .727 save percentage, as Chokol's shot is grabbed by Burns. 16 total saves this season for Burns, and 3 shutouts against Bryant, UAlbany, and that MAC win against Iona. Played down by Andrews. Lyon now looking for the long ball through to Kupo. Great ball. Kupo looking for the cross. Blocked of a Siena defender. And the first corner of the game just 2.5 minutes in for the Bobcats.
Yeah, Zach, the Bobcats are really coming out on an offensive strike. I kind of mentioned this earlier to the game. The Bobcats have a strong offensive strike where they have their defense step all the way up the field, move up, and try to get something going. And that's kind of what they've been doing. Bobcats have been dominating and trying to be in a scoring position all this game so far.
Looks like Lyon will take the corner kick as well. High into the box on the far side. Alves the header. She got there, but wasn't able to get it on target. This one kicked out of bounds by Siena. The Bobcats continue with possession now. Bobcats looking strong out of the gate. One of the things that we mentioned in our pregame talk, Brittany, was that the Siena Saints are really more of a second-half team. 9 of their 13 goals in their last 3 games have come in the second half. 11 of the 18 total goals this season have come in the second half. So they're a team that is known to play the long game. We'll see what they can start off with here, as Stoll now has it in front of her own bench for the Saints, crossing halfway line, up against Roman. Good defensive play there by Gagno. Now Gagno to Kupo. Kupo looking to turn. Kupo checked there by Iona Snape. No foul called there, and a throw in for the Saints. Siena looking to control now. Going back to the Bobcats game against Sacred Heart, that one key factor that allowed the Bobcats to dominate that game against Sacred Heart was their ability just to put pressure on, not allow Sacred Heart to settle in the game. So we'll see how Siena can do to control possession and or get long offensive possessions, or if it'll just be a counter-attacking strategy for them. Throwing for the Bobcats, taken down by Kupo. Kupo to Gagno. Gagno sends it up for Chokol, but Siena's defensive line stands strong. Switching the field now. Here's Lily Farrell. Out to Snape. Snape trying to through ball into Stoll. That's a good ball. Stoll now in front of the Bobcats bench. Cuts back, now sending it across. Into the box, was looking for Brianna Neary. Freshman midfielder out of Massapequa, New York. But nothing going there. Foul call on the Bobcats, so a free kick now. Near the 50-yard line.
So far this game, Zach, it's really been just back and forth soccer. No one's really had most possession. Obviously, we've seen the Bobcats, take a couple penalty kicks, but nothing really out of the normal. It's just been both back and forth soccer. No one's really dominated the game so far.
Snape sending it inside to Rogers. Rogers now on a chance in front. Los Bonoso with a great diving save on the shot from Brianna Neary. Neary had some space as Foster lost control of her positioning. This one headed out by Roman. Another chance for a shot, clipped by Kupo. A good clearance by Kupo, getting it back out, but Snape takes control. Espinoso coming up big with a great diving save there. Just about 6 minutes into this one. Bobcats looking for a response now in their defensive line. Vanderbosch sending to the far sideline, but it's too far out of reach. That's a tough turnover there for the Siena Saints, and now Tally Lyon with the throw in for Quinnipiac.
Yeah, if you're Siena, you don't want to lose the ball at the 50. You know, that's where you want to dominate and spend most of the game controlling the field. And if you lose the ball there, it just gives the Bobcats a chance to quickly transition.
Ball finds the foot of Gagno. Gagno spinning around. Hands it off to Costello. Didn't see the run of Gagno, so the ball lost control there, but Tally Lyon picks it up. Lyon now looking for a cross in the box. Chokol was behind it. Gagno has it now, going to put it back in the box. This one goes right to Burns, who makes the easy grab. Siena now slowing it down. Snape checks back, hands it off to Lindsey Harrington. Gagno plays it back. Alves now looking to switch the field. Puts this one into the box. One's headed down by Harnett. Now Gagno with some space off to the side to Mandler. Mandler now over to Chokol. Chokol trying to step in. Chokol met quickly there by Harrington and sent away. Rogers can't get to it. Gagno has it. Bobcats keeping the pressure up, but haven't really gotten a true chance on this possession. Now into the box. Kubo couldn't control. Costello takes a step. Her shot headed away. Now Lyon over to the corner to Molly Andrews. Andrews near the far touchline. Pressed hard there by Kate Flanagan. Andrews into the box. Kubo turns. Kubo shoots, blocked. Good chance there for Kubo in front. But two Siena defenders got there in time.
That was two big stops by Siena's defense. Great positioning there. And, you know, the Bobcats just don't have an answer in offense.
Costello sends this one in, but it's out of bounds. And they'll say corner blocked. The Bobcats have the chance. So far, Brittany, you know, the Bobcats have really had all the possession, but the only true chance has been for Siena with that great save from Lo Spinoso. It's been interesting to see how, you know, through almost 9.5 minutes, the Bobcats have had almost all the possession, but the offense has really only been with Siena.
Yeah, they're just struggling to get one in the back of the net or getting an opportunity to even get a shot open right now.
Stoll had it right off the corner, but now Lyon will sending it back up to Courtney Chokol, and this one just headed away. Chokol heading for the corner here. She might take the corner quickly, but instead she'll let some of her teammates head into the box. Chokol is off the head of Costello and over the bar.
Looks like another Bobcats corner, Zach.
Fourth one today already. Short pass over to Roman. Roman 1-2 back to Chokol. Chokol Alves the header into the box and cleared away by Harrington. But here's Andrews at the top of the box, and that one is a roller out near the left post. Bobcats putting some pressure on the doorstep of the Saints. Still a 0-0 game, 10.5 into this one. You're just joining us here on QBSN. I'm Zach Turenko alongside Brittany Braunlieben. Or max soccer action between the visiting Siena Saints and the Quinnipiac Bobcats. Burns, the goal kick, slows down and controlled there by Siena. Rogers sending it forward. Here's Neary. Neary pushed off it by Alves, but Neary still on top of it. Rogers off to Snape. Snape back to Rogers. Now, Rogers is the top goal scorer with 6 for the Saints, but is a true midfielder. Makes the stat line even more impressive. Harrington now over to Snape. Snape now looking long for Rogers. Rogers, Alves defending. Alves with pressure on. Rogers in a tie-up with Alves. Alves goes down, and they'll say goal kick. Alves fighting for that one, made sure that the Bobcats would get possession.
Yeah, that was a great stop by Alves, making sure that Siena, you know, can have a chance to score and send the ball in the box right there.
Espinosa plays it off to Foster, now to Alves. Mandler. Long pass taken away by Harrington. Neary and Gagno fighting for that one. Roman takes it down. Bobcats now moving the ball quickly. Foster stepping out of the defensive line. Foster looking deep downfield for Andrews, and Andrews is there to run onto it, but Vanderbosch is there and will push Andrews off so Burns can pick it up. A little extra push there from Andrews after the play. Bobcats have been an aggressive team this year. 6 yellow cards and 70 fouls. Opposing teams they've played only 2 yellow cards and 39 fouls. Sometimes you have to give up fouls, to win possession and then score goals, but the Bobcats have really made that aggressive pressure style of defense to offense their sort of goal kick now for Siena. Kate Burns, the freshman, her first year, excuse me. This one played down by Farrell. Now sent forward to Neary. Neary still chasing Alves for it. Espinosa now to Mandler. Bobcats trying to control either defensive zone. Now Alves. Costello will just play it back to Espinosa. Espinosa clears. Snape's the only one there. Farrell. Harrington now trying to defend against Gagno and Chokol. Foul called. Gagno and Chokol not happy with that one. So a free kick now at halfway. Harrington will just play it back. Vanderbosch switches to Harnett. Taken away by Roman in the midfield now. Kupo. Counterattack chance for the Bobcats. Kupo looking on the far side to Andrews. Andrews stepping into the box. Looks for the cross in. Chokol was a little bit too late and Burns stepped out. Good opportunity there in the counterattack for the Bobcats, but nothing to show for it.
Yeah, that was a good swift transition by the Bobcats. Great look by Andrews there. Just couldn't find Chokol. It was a good look. Bobcats, they haven't really had many looks in the box that have been able to connect with people. They just have to talk more when they're transitioning, where they're moving, and try to find each other instead of just trying to play that long ball.
Gagno trying to run through, stolen away now into the box. Too far for Andrews. Andrews trying to run onto it in the far side. Andrews and Flanagan, who've been going at it so far this game, another little mix-up there. Harnett will take the free kick. Let's say offsides. Although we haven't seen much energy from either of the head coaches, it is something we should talk about. 2 very experienced coaches here. As you may know, Dave Clark, 25 years with the Bobcats. An impressive resume with back-to-back MAC championship wins. And across to the other bench, you have Steve Karbowski, 26 seasons as head coach of Siena, with a total record of 214, 201, and 54, with 117 of those being MAC wins. Was the MAC Coach of the Year in 2020 and brought his team to MAC championships in 2010, 2015, and 2020 as well. He's the first coach in MAC play to win a championship with his team being a 6th seed. Last year, obviously a tough season for the Siena Saints, 4-9-4, but the first years that have sort of stepped into this starting lineup for Siena have been really key, and so far 5-4 is a much better place for them with some really impressive wins. I don't know about you, Brittany, but I do expect to see a little bit more of Dave Clark and Steve Karbowski later in this game.
I hope so. I want to see some energy, bring some life to this game. You know, it kind of feels dull on the field from both teams right now. There's not a lot of energy going on. It's just that they're both sharing the ball and they're just not getting opportunities to be in a scoring position.
17 minutes in, no really exciting action. Both teams just trying to set up their play. You know, the Bobcats in some of their games this season, as that ball never made it in bounds. Bobcats scored early, so the energy was there, and they sort of used that momentum. But right now, both teams just still sort of feeling the game out.
Kind of what you mentioned before, you know, Siena is very much a second-half team. They thrive with the second-half energy and kind of catching teams out of position. But the Bobcats, they're the opposite. They're more of a first-half team, making the emphasis first in the games.
Burns' goal kick. The entirety of both teams are past the 20-yard mark, and Burns' kick has some backspin. And they'll say foul on Costello. A little bit too much contact there with Abby Daly, one of the captains this year, sophomore out of Pearl River, New York. All-MAC third team in 2023, tallied the second most minutes on the team with 1,339 as a goal this season against St. Thomas. But here's Costello. Rogers came all the way back to take that one. No subs yet for each team. Long kick over the head of Chokol and just too far. Wind picking up here a little bit as both teams still getting into this game. And you know, Brittany, I'm not surprised that there's some wind here, as today is the official last day of summer. We're heading into that fall season.
It is the fall equinox today. That is true, Zach.
This is where you really get into that time of year. Tally Lyon, the long kick, and Burns makes the save. Second shot on goal for the Bobcats in this one. Burns. That one drops a little short. Rogers is first to it. Gagno putting some extra pressure on. Stoll and Alves. Body-to-body contact there. Alves comes out with it. Daly got the header down, but Roman is the one who has to control, and too much power on that pass to Tally Lyon. It'll roll out of bounds and throw in for Siena.
Yeah, Siena really hasn't had many opportunities on their offensive side. So these opportunities, when the Bobcats lose the ball in the midfield, just give them the chance to be in a scoring position. As we've seen, you know, Siena, they've already had one shot on goal, and they really haven't been on their offensive side. So they're offensively a high attacking team.
So we'll go back to Harnett. I'll go off the far wall, out of bounds, throw in now for Tally Lyon. Closed in on 21 minutes played here in the first half. Good move there on the far side. Here's Rogers now with lots of space. Mandler, the only defender. Sending it forward to Stoll. Stoll with Alves. Still 30 yards out from Los Pinoso. Here's Snape now. And now Chokol and Alves reset. Snape trying to get around Chokol. Snape crossing the box. Stoll got a piece of it. Fell down. No call there. Cupo now with it, and the Bobcats will reset. Bobcats last season had an incredible run, especially through MAC play. Won almost every single game in MAC play, and were MAC champions. But one of the games where they were given some challenge was their matchup against Siena, which is an away game on October 14th. In that game, the Bobcats went up 2-0 early. Siena tied it in the 60th and 70th minute, roughly. And then Ella Gagno had a 82nd minute winner, assisted by Courtney Chokol.
on last season too. At the Bobcats, while playing at home in MAC play, they went 5-0.
They were definitely had a strong run through their schedule. But it is, as I said, fair to say that Siena was really one of the teams that gave them a challenge last year. And so far in this one, giving them a challenge. Still running forward now with it. Long ball over to Snape. Here's a good opportunity. Snape just outside the 18-yard box. In too far for Stoll and cleared out by Foster. Neary with it. Neary over to Rogers. Rogers now outside to Snape. Snape trying to step in. Snape looking for the cross. This one's going to go over the net, and it's just too far out of reach for Kate Flanagan. It looked like the cross wasn't going to make it into play, but then at the last second sort of curved back in. Bobcats now clearing out, right out to Siena. Momentum sort of shifting a little bit here as Siena now with a couple of consecutive offensive opportunities. Harrington now back to Vanderbosch. Siena playing out of their defensive line, but positioned near midfield. Here's Stoll. A lot of space for Snape. Snape trying to send Neary in for a run, and that was a bad pass. Roman takes it away. Roman's pass across midfield to Kupo. Kupo, and there's a foul called there on Vanderbosch on a late tackle. Free kick now for the Bobcats.
Yeah, for that little run there, it was like a good 5-minute run where Siena was just possessing the ball and was able to control it themselves, and the Bobcats could not clear the ball out. Losing that when they lost the ball in the midfield, that was kind of going to be a transition for the Bobcats now to have the momentum going into the offense.
Alves takes the free kick into the box, cleared away by Harnett. Now Neary trying to control it down. Rogers turning, but Gagno's there. Gagno and Alves have been the two defenders controlling Rogers and Neary. This one sent back to Burns. Little touch-off pass to Harnett. Kupo the only one pressing right now and calling her team ahead with her. Harnett now in the air, sending it forward to Neary. Foster sends it right back up in the air. Headed down. Flanagan can't play it. Tally Lyon stepping now towards the inside. Was looking for Kupo to make a run. That one will trickle through the 18-yard box and out of bounds. And the first two substitutions going to be made by the Bobcats. Anna Bean, number 28, the sophomore defender, will take off Anna Costello. And number 16, Caroline Matizak, will take off Molly Andrews. And Matizak, one assist. First U Albany, but a key player off the bench for the Bobcats. Rogers now in the counterattack, trying to send it forward. Here's Stoll. Stoll got by Alves. Stoll with a chance for a shot, and right on Los Bonoso makes the save. Alves lost sight of Stoll there on that one. And Stoll went right at Los Bonoso. Los Bonoso, second big save, keeping this one 0-0.
Yes, Siena's been kind of looking for that all game. They're trying to get that fastball transition, catching the Bobcats out of position on defense and trying to get the ball past Los Bonoso in goal.
Gagno trying to play the ball down the line from Matizak, cleared out of bounds. A little bit more than halfway through this first half. Couple of shots for each team. But no goals on the board. That header's going to go out of bounds, and they'll say goal kick. Bobcat. Some Bobcat players a little confused with that call. Burns will take the goal kick. And again, you see the Saints just sort of send everybody up. Burns this one. in towards the center. Now Gagno with control. And a foul there by Daly on Gagno. Foster will take the free kick. This one in. Kupo the header. And that one is just wide of the left post. Kupo with a big chance there. Just wide.
Yeah, the Bobcats just keep trying to play that ball into the 6 and the 18 box, but the problem is they just can't find a way to get the ball to get a nice shot on the back of the net. They're not really getting, not that they're not getting open, it's just they just can't figure out a way to actually just shoot the ball on net.
Lyon takes that goal kick down out of the air. Roman now trying to send through to Matizak. Great ball to Matizak on the far side, but just too far out of reach. Bobcats are seeing the lanes. They're making the through balls, but they're just a little bit too far out of reach. The Siena Saints take possession back. This goal kick, Roman couldn't play it down, went high up in the air with Lily Farrell, and they'll say foul on Roman. Referee playing a stoppage there. I think the referee was waiting to make sure that Roman was okay before play restarted. So Vanderbrosch will now have to retake the free kick. Vanderbrosch looks like she wants to play it back. Gonna have to look forward. That one goes into just dead space there. Alves will take possession. Now over to Mandler. Mandler forward to Kupo. Kupo. Kick forward was blocked down by Harrington, so a throw in now for Mandler. And there's throw headed forward by Kupo. Chokol now trying to fend off Harrington. Now ball into the box, too far for Matizak. Now Bean trying to play it down and cleared away by Siena. Stoll in a race against Alves. Alves was cleared away.
Again, that was on the chance for the Bobcats, get something going for them. Try to, at least get a shot on goal, but they just could not find a way to get a shot off.
Harrington. Throw-in was sent forward, out of bounds. It'll be another one now for Iona Snape. Harrington's throw headed down by Mandler, but it went back. Roman now with control. Roman sending it forward. One of the things the Bobcats have not struggled with, but not really been as consistent as they have in past games, is that midfield sort of presence they have, and you have to assume that's because one of their strongest holding midfielders, Clara Bankston, is not in this game. Bobcats still able to transition quickly from defense to offense, but it's not as smoothly or consistently as they have in the past. This will be a goal kick now for Burns as we pass the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, the Bobcats right now, they're just struggling to connect passes and find each other. Even with the long balls and short passes, they're just not as clean as they're used to being.
Siena Saints coming off their win against U Albany. That was on Wednesday. There's a big fight between Daly and Alves in the midfield for that ball. Siena coming off a recent win. The Bobcats hadn't played a game since last Saturday, so an entire week off. excuse me, not even last Saturday, the Wednesday before, which would be an extra 4 days. So about a week and a half since the last time they played a game. It's always interesting to see how sometimes, you assume the extra break is helpful, but actually, the consistent playing of games keeps you in that sort of level of play. Bean takes that one away. Now Kupo. Kupo looking to chokehold. Pass was too short. And now Snape has it. Snape up the touchline in front of the benches. Back in the center to Rogers. Rogers, good move getting by Gagno. Rogers back to Snape. Bobcats just tracking back. Now Stoll. Stoll's cross is sent out, and the ball hit the flagpole so hard, the flagpole came out of its suspension in the corner, and they having to put the flag back in. And that deflection off of Alves had a lot of force behind it.
Substitutions coming off. Number 15, Brianna Neary, number 20.
2 subs. Snape and Neary off.
Replaced by number 16, Annie Bagnall, and number 25, Anna Swires.
Swires and Bagnall on for Siena Saints. Bagnall, a graduate forward, as Los Spinoso was able to block that one away. Bagnall was the captain last year in 2023, as here's Gagno with a chance to run onto it. Gagno fighting with Vanderbosch, and Vanderbosch clears that one away, and they're going to say foul on Gagno.
They're going to say Gagno had more contact on that play.
The ref took a long time to actually make the call. He sort of ran up and then had positioned his hand as in, Siena's possession. Almost make it an interesting call there. But Bagnall, as I mentioned, was a captain last year, scored both goals in the UAlbany win, has almost 70 career games played for this team, but has not started. And head coach Karbowski, I guess, assumed she'd be a better presence off the bench, and so far has been.
She can be that bench player, impact player. One of those players that comes in the game, it makes an impactful instance. So, she's the one that's the game changer, changes the momentum, stuff like that.
Foul call there on Siena. Now the Bobcats have it. Bean will step forward and let Foster, or Mandler actually, will take the free kick. It's about 40 yards out from Kate Burns and the Siena goal. 10 minutes to go here in the first half. Action starting to heat up as both teams deeper and deeper into this game. Mandler into the box, the header. Alves went flying into the net, and that was, I believe that was Kupo who almost got the header there. Blocked off of Anna Bean, and another throw in for Siena. And all of a sudden, a switch has been turned on, Brittany, and both teams are playing. Both teams are playing really aggressive, and the last 10 minutes here in the first half should be exciting.
Last 10 minutes, you want to go into halftime with being the team with an advantage. Both teams want something going for them, especially for halftime. Then try to change the momentum, make a goal happen, make something happen on offense for both these teams.
Ball was looking for Mandler from Alves out of the defensive line. Siena will take over just about at halfway, and 2 subs looking to check on soon here for the Bobcats. Stoll fighting with Alves. Throw in again for Siena. It'll be Anna Swires. And ref gets a stoppage of play. And a yellow card given to Molly Andrews on the bench. I think what may have happened is when that ball rolled out of bounds, I think Andrews was sort of playing with the ball while the Siena defender was looking to pick it up for the throw-in. And the referee seemed to not be very happy with that, so gave a quick yellow card.
Yellow card has been assessed to number 5, Molly Andrews.
That's one of those yellow cards that if you're Coach Clark, it's just one that, you know, you can't control, but you wish hadn't happened, as Andrews is a pretty big player here for the Bobcats. And that counts for the 7th yellow card the Bobcats have taken this year. That ball rolled too far, and Mandler will clear out of bounds for a Siena throw-in near the corner flag. Stoll sending it in. Alves clears away. Mandler's header. Farrell and Daly. Now over on the far side, Flanagan. Flanagan cutting back. Now inside to Daly. Pressed by Kupo. Trying to send it across to Swires. Nobody there. And Roman takes it away. Flanagan continuing the pressure. Daly as well. Good heads-up play by Matizak to control that one. Now it's trying to send it to Choko, and Swires throws a leg out. Takes that one down, and now Siena has it through the defensive line in the 18-yard box. Vander Bosch. Farrell met quickly by Anna Bean, and they'll call a foul on Bean, and then a late tackle from Swires on Mandler there.
Yeah, both teams now getting more aggressive. They both want something happening before going to halftime. Both teams on the attack. They want a goal in the back of the net.
Daly now over to Harnett. As you mentioned, both teams really playing aggressive, looking to finish out the half strong. Daly. Crossfield pass to Harrington, now forward to Swires. Swires now looking to send through to Rogers, just too far. Foster takes it and now to Alves. Alves Stoll is right on her back as she sends it forward to Matizak. That one is too far out of reach, and Harnett will just send it out of bounds. But the Bobcats with a throw in now. And here come the two subs for Quinnipiac. Melina Bronco and Aisling Spillane. And a third as well.
Quinnipiac substitutions coming off number 7, Tally Lyon.
Bianca D'Onofrio
Number 23, Courtney Choko.
as well.
Replaced by number 10, Melina Bronco. Number 11, Ashley Spillane. And number 18, Bianca D'Onofrio.
Lyon, Kupo, and Chokol to the bench. And Bianca D'Onofrio getting her first few minutes of the season. Played 4 minutes in the win over UAlbany. Hasn't played since then. Into the box, Bronco. Couldn't control, and a corner.
Say goal kick.
A sideline referee, linesman, called corner, but the center ref said goal kick, so Siena are the winners of that call. Burns the kick. Rogers can't control. In the air, Stoll goes down. Roman trying to fight for it. Spillane, good ball through to Matizak. Matizak trying to play before it goes out of bounds. It was saved. It rolled on the line, and Burns is able to grab it. 5 minutes left in the first half. Still 0-0 between Quinnipiac and Siena. Burns. This one's a bouncer. Stoll and Alves fighting for it, and they both go down quickly, and a foul called on Alves. And Alves is, one-on-one tracking Stoll throughout the first 40 minutes. And so far, it's been a big impact on that defense, been really, really helpful.
Yeah, Olive's man marking is kind of slowing down Sienna's defense in those. They like to do those quick transitions, trying to get the Bobcats out of position. With Alves man marking, they really can't do that, and it's really struggling for Sienna to get something going for them on offense.
Yeah, Stoll is one of those facilitators for Sienna. Shutting her down has shut down the offense. Bagnall hit hard in the back by Mandler right outside the box. And Mandler, not happy, went right up to the referee. The referee not going to listen to any of that. So here comes probably the biggest opportunity, not even probably, the biggest opportunity of the first half so far, with a free kick just outside the 18-yard box, a few feet deeper into the defensive zone, and that could have been a penalty kick. And referee sending the line back. Referee wants the line to go back as even far out. A 5-player blockade in front of Los Spinoso. Still communication happening between Stoll, Rogers, and Daly. Stoll just put that one right on, and a seemingly wasted attempt there for Sienna. I mean, for a second I thought they were going to try an indirect sort of fake out play, but Stoll just shot it right at the wall.
Yeah, Sienna, that was a great opportunity for them to be in a scoring position, get something going for them, get a shot on net, but it just did not work out in their favor at all.
I see the vision in sort of the having 3 players stand and just one sort of going and trying to fake out the wall, but when the shot itself doesn't have much pressure on, there's nothing there. And here comes a foul on Mandler. And another stoppage of play. Mandler talking with the referee again. Referee telling Mandler to sort of control some of the fouls. No card given. Harrington now with the free kick in front of the Bobcats bench. Referee still talking to some of the Bobcat players. Harrington's cross into the box, headed away by Bean. Now on the ground, Daly trying to control, and they'll say handball on Sienna.
Again, Sienna was in another great scoring opportunity. They've really been struggling getting into the offensive third, and they just can't get anything going for them in that box.
Foster and Alves talking to the referee right now. And they're frustrated. Seemingly, their aggressive play has been called just about every single time by the referee, and they're not too happy with that one. Alves trying to get through Stoll. Stoll with a great play here. Stoll now sent through the Bagnall, but it was just too far as Los Spinoso is able to clear. It was too far, but Los Spinoso still had to come out and clear that one away. 1 minute left in the first half. Bronco trying to control, out of bounds, throw in for Sienna. Last 40 seconds of the first half. Rogers against Alves, out of bounds off Sienna. Quinnipiac takes control. Long throw, Spillane. Good move by Spillane. Now the Bobcats sending forward, looking for Bronco. Last 10 seconds. And no one will take the throw in. That will do it for the first half. Bobcats and Saints still tied at 0. Last 10 minutes, a little more aggressive there, Brittany. But a very interesting first half We will send it back to the guys in the booth to give us their halftime thoughts, and we'll be back for the second half of action just a little while later.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused.
A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out that self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and your mental health.
Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Welcome back to Bobcat Game Day for the halftime show. A scoreless first half here in Hamden. Guys, what were your initial takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, obviously neither team could break through. It seemed to me like the Bobcats had more opportunities, but we saw Siena kind of put the pressure on down the stretch there, Zach.
Yeah, for the Saints, it seemed more like quality over quantity. A couple of chances. Los Penoso kind of bailed the Bobcats out a few times. Their defense, that back line we talked about pregame, really had to step up. Saints offense was relentless in terms of quality, but Bobcats had more chances.
Yeah, the Saints did exactly what I predicted this game would be all about, is defense. They kind of seemed to prioritize their defense, let the Bobcats put on the pressure. Bobcats had 8 shots. Siena had 4, miraculously, considering how much ball possession the Bobcats had, and then both teams wound up tied 3-3 on shots on goal. So the Bobcats just need to get something to go their way, maybe a fortunate bounce, maybe some luck, but Siena's doing exactly what it seemed this game needed, which is tight defense.
Yeah, and I think coming into this, I figured that Siena would start slow, right? I thought the Bobcats would be the team to be ahead at the break. I totally, if I'm being transparent. And Siena withheld the battle that the Bobcats gave them in the first 45 minutes. I think if you're going to be high on Siena, this is the time to do so. I mean, Zach has been all over that, Nick, in the first segment that we did earlier, but I mean, I don't know. The Saints, they look like they can compete in the MAC right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're showing that first half of the season hasn't been a fluke so far. Let's take a look at the first half highlights from this one. Obviously 0-0, but we'll take a look at how they're doing.
Yeah, a couple chances for both sides, but we'll see. This should be a good highlight either way.
Yeah.
No score.
Good defensive battles so far. Both teams have won 3 in a row. They're trying to both push it to 4. 3 minutes in, Bobcats look from the corner. Madison Alves goes for the header, and Siena clears the look. Great defense there, like you guys were talking about. Now, 10 minutes in, Molly Andrews gets a shot on goal attempt. They're going to pass it around to her. Shot on goal attempt. Great save by Kate Burns. Diving on that to deny the attempt. 27, another corner kick off the top of the net. Morgan Cupo got a header attempt on it but couldn't connect. And Catherine Rogers sends a ball to Brianna Neary. She takes a shot on goal. Los Penoso diving stop there. Great play from the goalies so far.
Yeah, so let's just kind of talk really quickly about how Siena gets their offense rolling. Because as we saw in the highlight, most of the chances were Bobcats, not Siena. So, Zach, what do you see about what they need to do?
Yeah, I just think they need more sustained pressure. We mentioned pregame. They're going to have to go for some of those home run balls, the Hail Mary passes. And they've connected on a few. Los Pinosa's been great between the pipes for the Bobcats. They just kind of have to keep up what they're doing. It's 3-3 in shots on goal. Take away the 8-4 shot advantage for the Bobcats. It's 3-3 in shots on goal. Those are the ones that matter most because you can't score if you don't hit the net. And I just think that the Saints are doing a pretty good job of playing the type of game that can get them to a win.
Zach, obviously 45 scoreless minutes, 45 more. If there's 45 minutes without a goal, then your over is busted already. I just want to make you aware of that.
I'm aware, but you know what, Beckett?
Still confident?
I'm still confident. The Bobcats are going to go into halftime. Dave Clark is going to talk to this team, and they're going to be well adjusted for the second half. They already have more sustained pressure. 5 corners to 1 right now. The more
and a near goal.
And a near goal. A couple of near goals. I just think that with their set pieces, they love going after that second ball. I haven't seen them play it short on the corner to chokehold like they usually like to do. Maybe they switch it up a little, play a couple different sets out of their corners, a couple different set pieces. I think the Bobcats are right there.
I really liked what you said about the shots versus shots on goal. That's a massive thing that I think people kind of just don't look at it the right way. Shots are shots. I mean, it's okay, but you need the shots on goal. The shots that go wide, the shots that go high, they don't matter. It's just an effort. It's just a chance. So Quinnipiac has to, the biggest thing in my opinion for Quinnipiac is that they have to keep doing exactly what they have been doing this half because you see that their chances are coming. They're going to get a fortunate bounce. They're going to get some luck, and the ball's going to go into the back of the net for them. On Siena's side, however, they need to know when is the right time to counter because counter could be critical in this game, especially if how much the Bobcats are pouncing on them right now. If Siena gets a lucky break and they can get 2 or 3 people to rush up the field, that's going to be perfect for them because we saw with their 11 goals in 2 games, they have the offensive powerhouse.
And Siena's been the more disciplined team through the first half, only taking 4 fouls. Quinnipiac, they've taken 10, so that's probably something that you mentioned Dave Clark talking in the locker room to his squad. You've got to limit those opportunities.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing. Fouls are not going to win you any kind of game. You need to be disciplined, especially like when you look at other sports. I don't want to get off track of soccer, but looking at hockey or whatever, you can't take penalties because that leads to downfalls. Here in soccer, you take a foul, you leave a chance outside of the box, maybe 5 or 6 yards away from the box. That's a brilliant position to put a goal in the back of the net.
And we saw a free kick for Siena right near the end of the half. I believe it was either the 42nd or 43rd minute. If that goes in, this is an entirely different conversation we're having because the Bobcats are down 1. Late goal gives Siena momentum going into the second half. We'll see how the Bobcats respond. I would almost say that they have to treat it like they're down 1-0.
I agree.
Exactly. A direct free kick opportunity for Siena that she just couldn't get her right footing on. If she got the right footing on it, Sofia Lospinoza might have had trouble.
You have to think that Siena, you're talking about momentum, you have to think that Siena is the squad with momentum right now. Coming into the defending champion's house and playing an even 45 minutes, it's a tough thing to do.
Now, guys, it's great discussion. We do have to toss it to commercial break. We'll be back for the post-game show here on Bobcat Game Day.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
We didn't know what the future would hold, but we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life, and I am so proud to call you my son.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Bobcat Game Day. We'll take a quick look around the rest of the conference. Iona's taken a 2-0 lead over Merrimack in the first half. Marissa Graziano and Kadarja Lewis, the 2 goal scorers for them. Meanwhile, Fairfield, they're up 3-1 right now in Niagara. Maddie Theriault with her 6th goal of the season already. She was a dominant force for them last season. Looks like more of the same for her right now. And then Sacred Heart Manhattan in a scoreless tie. Not much give and go from that game. Marish in the Mount and Canisius St. Peter's, those will both be kicking off pretty soon at 1 p.m. So we'll have coverage of those games when we get back on the postgame show. Now, guys, which of these so far halftime results are you most surprised by?
I would say I'm not surprised by any of them, right? I said Iona would beat Merrimack. I think that is a somewhat surprising outcome, but I think Iona just has the ability to push in the early season.
Plus they're home, so that helps them out a lot
Fairfield, that's a given. I mean, they're
Yeah.
a very, very good team. No disrespect to Niagara, but Fairfield's fantastic. People might be surprised with Sacred Heart. They're hanging with Manhattan. Sacred Heart, they're going to get their first win. They're going to get their first win of the season today. 0-0 at halftime. I think someone breaks through around the 70th minute in that game.
Yeah.
It's going to be for the Pioneers.
It's been 45 minutes since we were on the pregame show, and I still don't believe that Sacred Heart gets a win, especially being away at Manhattan.
Do you like draws?
I love draws. I'm a big draw guy.
Here we go.
If you say scoreless draw for this one,
I don't think it's a scoreless draw. I still think Manhattan's going to pull away and get the win. I think the most surprising for me was definitely Iona. I didn't see them winning this game, to be quite frank. Both teams were evenly matched, with Iona 2-5-2 and Merrimack 3-4-1. I just thought that Merrimack had a slight upper hand. I think the one thing going for Iona today is that they're at home. So that's definitely going to help them out, having that home support, home crowd. But that one might actually end in a draw.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Merrimack and Iona as well. I know, Beckett, that you picked Iona to win. And, you know, I can see that. I definitely didn't expect them to be up 2-0 at the half. That's just something that I definitely didn't expect. And you mentioned playing at home, a little more of a comfort. But I really thought that the Warriors would be able to pull it out, even on the road. They seemed like they were the better team going in. But, yeah, just 2 goals in the first, 32 minutes for the Gales. It's really taken a commanding lead into the half. So, unsurprisingly, I got to go with the Iona game.
Yeah, Merrimack, they've struggled a little bit in the early season. I know, kind of looking at the preseason MAC poll, people thought they could be a potential contender in this league, obviously behind the Quinnipiac, the Fairfield, maybe even the Canisiuses of the league. But Iona, they're a powerhouse at times. They have their chances, and they're succeeding so far in the first 45 of that game.
Yeah, I'll agree with that one. I'd pick Merrimack too. They were coming in a little hot, and Iona hadn't looked great coming into this one, but hey, they got 2-goal lead on the newcomers to the MAC. We are going to toss it back to the broadcast for the second half of this ball game. 0-0 tie. We'll see which side breaks through. We'll see you in the game show.
Back here on the Quinnipiac Bobcat Sports Network, I'm Zach Duranko alongside Brittany Braun Lieben. If you're just joining us, second half is just about to start. And hope you were able to hear the desk back in the studio for Bobcat Game Day break down what happened in that first half. Brittany and I will break it down very, very quickly here. A first half of no goals, but a lot of offensive opportunities for both teams and a lot of aggressive play there in the last 5 to 10 minutes, including a yellow card for Molly Andrews of the Bobcats. Brittany, talk a little about that first half and what you saw.
It started off very flat. Both teams were kind of just moving in the momentum, but nothing was really showing. The last 10 minutes, as you said, got very aggressive. A lot of scoring opportunity for both teams, but both teams are just really struggling to finish right now.
Siena will start with the ball in the second half. 45 minutes of action left. Both teams looking for that crucial goal. Both teams looking to keep that winning streak up to 4. Here's a big chance for Courtney Chokol. Stepping into the box. Great defensive play there by Vanderbosch. And sent out Chokol. Her kick is blocked. It'll be a corner. Both teams still looking for that crucial goal. They want to extend that win streak to 4 games.
You know, the Bobcats kind of started off how they started that first half, you know, coming straight out of the kickoff, going straight to the goal. But again, they're just struggling to find a connection and just getting shots off right now.
Corner comes in, headed away. Here's a chance. Bagnall with good pressure there. No call as Chokol was hit. And it's a foul, I think. I'm not sure what the call is. Chokol was hit in the box. She was trying to get to the ball. They were calling for a penalty, but nothing there. Burns will have the goal kick now. Flanagan tripped on the way she was trying to get it. Keep it in bounds. Now Costello. Bobcats going with a modified starting lineup here. They are keeping Bronco. Here's Roman, keeping it on the far side, now in the box. A modified lineup here. D'Onofrio, Bronco, Costello. Bronco shot over the bar. Good opportunity there.
You know, the Bobcats, you know, I think they're doing these change-ups because, you know, they didn't really have scoring opportunities in the first half. Nothing really going on offense for them. So they're going to change this lineup, you know, try to change the momentum on offense, you know, try to get more scoring opportunities.
D'Onofrio going to get her most minutes in the game so far this season. Here's Cupo. D'Onofrio over to Bronco. Bronco running the line. Flanagan, good defensive play. And that one sent out by Harnett. Throw in now near the corner on the close side of the field for D'Onofrio. Cupo trying to head it into the box. Rogers has it, and Rogers will clear it forward. Stoll. Alves and Bagnall there. Bagnall turns to the middle, and Bagnall wrapped up by Alves and Gagno. Daly quickly to Rogers. Rogers trying to cut across, and a great defensive play there from Roman. Now Chokol taken up. She's crossing midfield. Got 3 defenders on her, though. Chokol running diagonally outside. Tries to put a cross in the box. Cupo couldn't get a touch on it. And Cupo was pushed while trying to hit that shot. They'll say a corner. No call there. Some aggressive play in the offensive zone so far. Off the corner, it's a short kick. Bronco putting it into the box. Bronco shot. It's at the last second headed out by Swires. Bronco got an amazing curve on that one. Was going to the top corner from the outside of the 18 shot. And Swires just head popped up and got that one out of play.
It's like the intensity for both teams in the second half has really increased. The Siena defense is doing a great job at stopping the Bobcats, but the Bobcats now are more scoring opportunities.
Lions corner. Alves blocks it down. They say it crossed the line. They're calling for it. And it did. It crossed the line. Alves' header crossed the line. And the Bobcats score just 4 minutes into the second half. Alves had the header down, another clearance from Swires. But the Bobcat players put their hands up immediately. They knew it crossed the line. And there is no contest from either team or any refs. And that one will count, and the Bobcats get the first goal of the game in the 50th minute.
Yeah, Alves right there scoring her first goal of the season for the Bobcats. Great positioning there. The Bobcats, as we said, coming up really strong in the second half offense. And, after taking those shots, eventually one's got to fall in the back of the net.
Alves' goal, giving them that crucial lead. It's a chance now for Siena. Stoll. And that chip into the box is easily grabbed by Lo Spinoso. The Bobcats put a lot of pressure on in the first 3 or 4 minutes. Just like they did in the first half, this time they were able to get that goal. And Alves, as you mentioned, her first of the season. Chokol hands it off for Lyon. Lyon now up to Kupo. Kupo, good defense there from Vanderbosch. Siena now going to have to change up that strategy a little bit and be a little more aggressive in terms of transitioning up the field. Ball snap now back with D'Onofrio. D'Onofrio's touched a little too far. Rogers couldn't get to it. Bronco now. Bronco takes a shot. And that one's too high, but Bronco is doing a good job of taking those shots, not being afraid to pull the trigger. One almost went to the top corner, but was headed away by a Saints defender. Those other two a little bit too far over the top. This one finds Flanagan on the ground. Roman now over to Bronco. Bronco in front of her own bench. Defended by Harnett. Now inside to Kupo. Back to Bronco. Bronco with a good chance at a cross. Bronco's cross headed away by Burns. The chance for a shot. The rebound. And it's tipped up and out of play.
Bronco really coming into the second half, being an impact player. She's taking a lot of shots and getting everyone set up for great shots and opportunities, setting that ball into the 18 box, just setting up the team in a great scoring position.
Sub for
Siena substitution coming off, number 25.
Siena. Swires off and Iona Snape on.
Replaced by number 18, Iona Snape.
Kate Burns will send that one out. D'Onofrio plays it down. D'Onofrio's first major appearance for the Bobcats this season has been strong defensively. Bronco inside to Kupo. Kupo trying to tip it off to Costello. Costello dives out, and tough tackle there on Vanderbosch. Vanderbosch take the free kick. Just handed off to Harrington. Harrington defended by Chokol. Harnett. It's that one in the air. Bagnall now with Foster. Great move by Bagnall. Bagnall with a chance to go one-on-one against Tally Lyon. Bagnall can't make her way through. And a good defensive play there by Alves. For a second there, it looked like Bagnall was going to pull away, and then Alves and Rogers collide. And they'll call a foul on Rogers and a free kick for the Bobcats.
Yeah, Siena tried to do right there. Their quick transition onto offense, throwing the Bobcats defense out of position. It almost worked, but the 3 Bobcat defenders were able to get back and defend her.
D'Onofrio will play it back to Los Panoso. Costello. D'Onofrio. Flanagan will just clear it out there. Costello with it. Now back to Bronco. Chokel on the touchline, trying to get a cross in. She's able to get the kickoff late. It went to no man's land, and now D'Onofrio putting it back in the box. Kupo got a header. She's hit as she had that header, and Coach Clark now out of his seat and not happy with that one. Harrington for Siena. Snape out of bounds. They'll say Siena ball, and Tally Lyon not happy with that one. Ball goes back to Vanderbosch. Vanderbosch now inside to Farrell. Farrell back to Harnett. Siena swinging the ball around to the close side of the field. Flanagan. Daly looking forward. Taken away by Lyon. Lyon with Kupo. Good defense by Vanderbosch. Roman sending that through ball into Bronco. Bronco trying to beat Flanagan. Bronco tackle on her way into the box, and Bronco getting up slowly there. There'll be a corner for the Bobcats. Roman looks like she'll take it. 56 minutes into this one. If you're just joining us, I'm Zach Taranko alongside Brittany Braun-Liebert on QBSN in conjunction with Q30's Bobcat Game Day for a highly anticipated women's soccer match between the Bobcats and the Siena Saints. 1-0 Bobcats thanks to Madison Alves. Here's the corner from Roman, the header in. It's tipped out, and it'll be a goal kick.
Bobcat substitution coming off, number 10, Milena Bronco.
Milena Bronco will take a seat. Molly Andrews is back on. It's important to mention that Molly Andrews is on a yellow card right now. Excuse me. Andrews with it. Andrews now over to Chokel. Chokel in the box looking for Kupo. Daly's able to clear it away. But a big opportunity there. D'Onofrio coming in quickly. D'Onofrio running the touchline. D'Onofrio trying to put a cross into the box. Kupo couldn't get a chance on it, trying to clear it away. Harnett. Now Roman. Tally Lyon will take the shot on that one, is over the net. But the Bobcats continuing their offensive performance here in the second half. Doing a good job of putting the pressure on Siena. Siena hasn't really put any pressure on Los Panoso in the second half.
The Bobcats came into this half kind of like a more energetic team. Yes, they held the possession of the ball most of the first half, but the way they're holding the ball now, making their passes, they're more connections. They're making better connections, better communicating with each other, and just having better overall scoring opportunities.
Push there on D'Onofrio. Free kick now for Siena. It'll be Harnett to take the free kick. We'll go quickly off to Daly. A lot of pressure here from Roman. Harnett throws it forward. Alves heads it away, trying to play it down as Rogers. Haven't seen a lot of Rogers today. A couple of opportunities, but it's really been shut down by the Bobcats defense. And one of the little stat lines that I bolded in my notes was The Siena Saints are undefeated and play their best soccer when Catherine Rogers scores. And today, she has not scored and really hasn't had any opportunities. And that might be why the Bobcats are up 1-0.
Zach, there's still plenty of time left
Oh, there
in
is.
this game.
There definitely is. That ball goes in the box and Burns will hold on to it. I may have taken a little too much of a monotone little phrasing there, yes. As Brittany mentioned, there is still 30 minutes and a little bit of change left in this one. It is not over yet. Roman with it. Midway through the field. Harrington will let it roll back to Burns. Burns controls. Burns will punt that to halfway. Daly now to Flanagan. Kate Flanagan into the box. Was looking for Rogers. Played down and off the arm of Rogers. No call there. And now the referee will put his hand up and blow the whistle. Now Los Penoso will take the free kick at just about the 18-yard box. On kick played down by Farrell and over for Snape. Snape taken away by Costello, but Bagnall got to it first. Rogers now trying to send through to Stoll. Nothing there. Lyon on the far side to Chokol. Chokol looking ahead is just going to take on Snape. Snape putting pressure on. Chokol cutting across in the midfield. Chokol hands it off now to Costello. Costello cuts back. Costello putting a shot on the box. And Burns, maybe an unnecessary tip out. Could have held on to that one, but it'll be a corner for the Bobcats.
You know, the Bobcats, this is their 9th corner kick of the game so far. Siena's only had 1 corner kick this entire 60 minutes of the game.
Corner for Tally Lyon, the senior defender out of Tallinn, Connecticut. And it's important to mention how many of these Bobcat players have become so crucial, the veterans on this team. As it's a chance. D'Onofrio with a strike from 30 yards out, just over the bar. As a couple subs will check on for Siena. But you look at some of these veteran players, you know, and just in seniors, Mandler, Anna Carlos, Rachel Roman, Tally Lyon.
Replaced by number 2, Madison Mandlore.
Gagno as well. Foster, a graduate student. Same with Chokol and Los Penoso.
And number 15, Brianna Neary.
Cupo heads that ball out of play. It'll be a throw in now for Harnett. Harnett looking forward to Neary. Neary checked on in that last substitution. Here's Cupo looking for the corner. Tally Lyon lost sight of it. Now it's Neary. Gagno was looking at Molly Andrews. Now Costello. Costello tipped away by Flanagan, but Tally Lyon has it. Lyon puts one in the box. Great cross, but it's sent away, and Rogers has control. The Saints hoping that Neary can keep the pressure on for Siena. Neary tried to save that one. It went out of bounds, and the Bobcats will take over.
Yeah, Siena's really been struggling to get into their offensive third and clear that ball from the Bobcats. You know, this game could be a different story if they could try to clear the ball and get something going for them, but they just can't get the ball out of their defense.
Other sub for Siena in that last change was Micaiah Kroos. Great defense there from Foster as Rogers couldn't get by her. Sent forward, Andrews too far behind it, so first one there was Vanderbosch. Flanagan off of Foster. Roman trying to play it down. Back into Vanderbosch. Vanderbosch will just chip that one high in the air and out. Siena now controls, plays it down. Farrell, the far side to Snape, and now Siena making their way up the field. Snape. This one sent through. Rogers has a chance at it. Kroos playing it down, taking an extra step. Kroos the shot. Los Spinoso the diving save. Kroos got a good chance at it. Los Spinoso makes another great save. It'll be a corner for Siena. They're only their second of this game.
Yeah, Los Spinoso, one of the veterans for the Bobcats. You know, as a keeper, she moves a lot, steps off her line, and makes those big plays all the time. But, you know, Kroos, that was a great play for her. No one was stepping in front of her for the Bobcats defense. She had the wide open net. Why not rip a shot?
Kroos off the bench has been very key for the Saints. 2 goals in MAC play. It took her 13 minutes to score against Iona, and it took her 29 minutes off the bench to score against Mount St. Mary's, so really a big impact. That ball played on the line, saved in by Molly Andrews. Andrews now taking Snape one-on-one. Andrews, good move, keeps it in play. Andrews lost control. Snape took it over, but Andrews got almost all the way to the corner flag with that one. Impressive run. And that ball will trickle out of bounds near the halfway line. And a throw-in for Mandler on the far side of the field. 65.5 minutes into this one. 1-0 Bobcats. Madison Alves scored in the 50th minute on a header that originally looked like it had been saved off the line by a Siena defender. Instead was called a goal. Lots of time left for Siena, but are going to have to start mounting more offensive attacks if they want to get a chance at scoring. Ball played into Mandler. Mandler, cross comes in, and ball never really made it into play. As another sub checks on for Siena, it will be number 14, Cora Cohen.
Replaced by number 14, Cora Cohen.
The senior forward out of Brewerton, New York. Burns goal kick, headed right back to the corner by Costello. Andrews has it, defended by Vanderbosch, and Andrews lost control of it. The goal kick for Burns again, and
Bobcat substitution coming off, number 14.
2 subs will check on. Matizak will take off Chokol, and Costello will take a seat as Anna Bean is back on. Chokol coming off earlier than maybe she had expected, but Coach Clark wants to get some fresh legs there on offense with Caroline Matizak, hoping to add to their lead. Kupo heads that goal kick down, but Neary's able to be the first one to it and sends it back. Foster chased by Rogers. Los Spinoso has it. Los Spinoso back to Foster. Foster to Mandler on the touchline, trying to keep it in. Sending it forward. Andrews comes to it. The Bobcats look like they might be in a little bit of a trouble there, but quickly made their way up the field. A lot of pressure by Kupo on Vanderbosch. Vanderbosch still going backwards, but now turns and put it off the back of her defensive partner, Harrington. Throw in now for Quinnipiac.
Yeah, if you're Siena, you really want to lose the ball there in that play, but giving the Bobcats a chance basically right outside the 18 box. And, Siena, you need to get the ball up. They need to just clear the ball. They're trying to do small passes in the back for defense, but they just need to get the ball up and get into their offensive third.
Here's Kupo. Trying to keep that ball in. Andrews sent out. Kroos. Tally Lyon has it, and I'll just play it back to Alves. Alves tracked down by Rogers. Alves long kick. Played down. Here's Daly. Daly trying to look forward to Rogers, but too far. Siena having a hard time sort of reaching Neary and Rogers up top there and connecting on passes. Rogers switching over. Back inside, too far for Daly. That was Kohane. Daly, a lot of pressure on Gagno. Just play it back to Mandler and then back to Los Bonoso. Bobcats taking their time. Alves with it. Alves a couple strides forward and then sends that ball too far for Kupo, but this one's going to roll slowly. It may not even make it to the line. And Vanderbosch tried to keep it kept inside. Great play. Matizak off of Hartnell. And a corner now for the Bobcats.
That was a great play by Kupo and Matizak. You know, the ball was rolling pretty slow. They were able to get there in time and get it off the Siena defender. Get them another corner kick.
Two subs. Spillane on.
Siena substitution coming off, number 7, Catherine Rogers. Replaced by number 6, Megan Stoll.
Stoll replaces Rogers, and Spillane replaces Kupo. Cross into the box. Never made it into play. And while the Bobcats have had an incredible amount of corners here in this one, a lot of them were just like that one where didn't really get into play at all. The Bobcats maybe a couple of wasted opportunities. But same goes for Siena. We look back to that free kick they had in the first half where they were basically at the 18-yard box and just shot it right at the wall. So both teams really not taking advantage of set pieces in this game. Matizak trying to run the line against Hartnell, keeping it in play. Good work by Matizak to keep the play alive. Tally Lyon now will take the step. She'll make the cross. This one goes all the way over Andrews. Couldn't track it down in the air, but she has it on the ground now with Mandler. Mandler has a chance for a cross. Mandler puts it in. Matizak is there. The header from Matizak, and what a save by Burns. Burns diving across. Matizak was looking for her first goal of her Quinnipiac career.
Yeah, that was a great opportunity by the Bobcats. Again, Matizak in the perfect position, head right there, but first-year goalkeeper Kate Burns for Siena. Great positioning there. And again, kind of almost like a Sofia Lospinoso, where she's ready to move off the line whenever she needs to.
Denying Matizak of that goal, keeping them within one. Harrington now. Vanderbosch. You see that defensive line for Siena is getting tired because of the continuous offensive opportunities for the Bobcats and haven't been able to switch out. Here's a chance now. As Stoll gets it over to Daly, it's now a 3-on-3. Daly with it. Daly with a chance at a shot now. Daly shoots right at Los Bonoso. Had options to her left and right and just decided to shoot it. Los Bonoso makes a good save. The Bobcats now will play it out of their defensive zone.
Yeah, Los Bonoso, she didn't have to move for that save. She just stood still and was able to catch it.
Daly's might have made a mistake there and not looking up for some teammates as this one's sent forward. Cleared out by Alves. Throw in now for Cohen. Neary. Over to Daly. Daly goes back to Farrell. Harrington on the far side. There's Snape. Snape put it back in. Roman trying to tip it down. Kroos playing it there as well. Snape switching fields over to Kohane. Kohane now over to Stoll. Stoll, the cross in the box, off of Alves. And grabbed by Los Bonoso.
Yeah, Siena now, they're kind of more on the playing in their offensive third. On the attack, trying to take possession of the ball, trying to make something going for them. As you kind of said before, they tried to get the ball to Rogers, but Rogers is off the field now, so they're trying to find different scoring options.
74th minute in the game. Substitutions now coming on for the Bobcats. Costello and Bronco are back on. And good to see Bronco back on and ready to go, as when she came off originally, went right to the stationary bike to seemed like she may have been a little bit shaken up from one of the hits she took. Lyon and Andrews will take a seat. Snape now finds Stoll. Stoll forward to Cohen. Defended by Bean. Cohen going to run the line. Cross comes in, blocked, and out off the Bobcats. A corner for Siena. A chance for some set-piece action. The Saints really do not want to waste this opportunity. Harnett will take it. Siena setting up some runners on the backside of the box. Harnett putting it in the header, sent away by Alves. Trying to keep it in the zone. Cleared away by Bean. And now a chance for a counterattack. Here's Gagno. Gagno looking to see Bronco, but Bronco is going to try to chance in. Great save by Burns. Gagno the rebound. And from up here, I could see that, and there's the call. That Bronco was offsides originally.
That was a long delayed call for that offsides call.
Yeah, Bronco, Gagno had her head down when she was running forward, and if she had taken one less step and made that pass, Bronco might have been onsides. Those are just odd plays, Brittany, when, up here you can see it's offsides. You're waiting to see the flag go up, and that time it took the linesman a while. Stoll trying to keep it in play, and they'll say her cross never made it in. 76.5 minutes played. I would try to do the math on how many minutes are left, but that would take me too long.
14.
14, there it is.
13, actually. It's about to be 13 minutes.
13 minutes left to play. Thank you, Brittany, for the quick math.
Replaced by number 7, Catherine Rogers, and number 25, Anna Swires.
Swires and Rogers back on. A great afternoon here for some MAC soccer action as the autumnal foliage is making its way down the mountain next to the university here. As we mentioned earlier, the fall equinox is today, and we're heading into fall soccer.
We're heading into more MAC play.
Yeah, one of my favorite times of year. Roman trying to control the ball in the air, and a foul will be called against her. Victoria Foster will take the free kick. We'll just give it off to Bronco. Bronco going to take Cohen one-on-one. Bronco with some speed. Pushed off by Cohen. Bronco puts the cross back into the box. Great pass there, and Costello had a good chance, but no goal. Courtney Chokel is back on as Matizak will take a seat.
Replaced by number 23, Courtney Chokel.
Yeah, Bronco's kind of really been that sub off the bench. It's kind of been an impact player. As you said, she started the second half, really got the Bobcats going and getting into that scoring position where they were able to score the goal. Now she's back in again, setting up these beautiful plays, giving the Bobcats a chance to score. They just can't get the ball to the back of the net.
Here's Rogers now with a chance with speed. Rogers sending it forward, and it'll just roll out of bounds. Rogers seems to be a little frustrated, having a tough time with not a lot of opportunities. Sub checks on now. Rachel Roman going to take a seat. Morgan Kupo back on. And now Aisling Spillane will shift back into that central midfield position as Kupo is back on offense. Swires comes and takes that ball back. Spillane controlling in the midfield. Mandler with some dribbling through the midfield. Switching sides, now Bean with it. Bean has some space. Bean into the box. Vanderbosch sends it away. Gagnon with a great tackle on Neary. And that ball goes out of bounds, throw in for Harrington. Rogers evades a tackle from Bronco. Cohen steps into the midfield. Cohen looking forward, finds Neary. Neary, good touch, she's tackled there from Mandler, and they'll call a foul on Mandler, so free kick about 40 yards out. Daly has it, and she'll just pass it off to Harrington. Harrington will send one to the box. This one heading towards the line. Rogers shoots, and it's over the top of the net. Rogers with a prime opportunity to a prime opportunity for Rogers to score, and just too high over the net.
In that situation, Rogers just had to take another second, look at the net, just take a second, look up and see where Los Pinoza was, and then place the ball.
Here's Daly. Now to Stoll. Stoll's pass to Neary's taken away. Mandler goes down. Foul called on Stoll. Foster will let Los Pinoza take the free kick. Last 10 minutes of play here in the game. Long ball off the head of Swires, so a throw in now for the Bobcats. And with 10 minutes left, you're going to start to see little pieces of the game here where the Bobcats will do some time wasting. Taking a couple extra seconds to walk to the ball for a throw in. Maybe kick the ball away when changing possessions, long substitutions, long goal kicks, things like that.
My personal favorite is when you try to kick it onto the road. That's my personal favorite time delay.
That's one I haven't seen very often, but, usually plays like that lead to yellow cards for delay of games, but, it's all a part of the time-wasting strategy. The Bobcats have that 1-0 lead thanks to the Madison Olives goal in the 50th minute. Here's Kupo with it in the corner, and Kupo's already started the time-wasting, just holding the ball in the corner. Same with Chokol, out of bounds, another throw-in for the Bobcats. Back in my day, Brittany, I played a lot of soccer. I played for a premier travel team in New England, and as one of my experiences that I can attest to is that being on the opposing side, when you're down a goal and a team is just time wasting, it is infuriating. It is very hard to play against.
It is angry. My thing was I would just get the ball myself then. I would run off the field and get the ball myself.
Yep. Yeah, it's a tactic that is very effective, but tough to play against, and usually leads to some heightened emotions, maybe a couple of not so great fouls. This ball's cleared off of Kupo. So now a goal kick for Siena. 7 minutes is what's left on the clock, and that is enough time for Siena to mount an offensive attack.
Replacing number 15, Brianna Neary.
Neary will step off. Bagnall is back on. So the offensive weapons of Rogers, Bagnall, and Stoll are all up and ready. But here's Bronco in a race with Cohen. Bronco wins the race. Bronco's cross cleared out, and it'll be a throw-in for the Bobcats. Bean has the throw-in for the Bobcats. Looking at Chokol. Kupo with it, cross off of Harnett. In a corner now. Bronco will take it. Now 6 minutes to go. Couple of subs warming up for the Bobcats. Bronco with it. Her cross. Another one with a good curve on it. Kupo looking for a chance. Kupo shoots, and that one couldn't turn enough to get that one on goal. And Burns grabs the ball quickly and will take the goal kick fast.
Yes, Siena right now, they really need to clear the ball and try to at least get into their offensive third. Or at least get the ball away from the Bobcats. Keep some possession.
Finds Bagnall. Alves trying to play it down. Stoll has it. Rogers all fighting for it. And a foul called on Siena. And the Bobcats, we'll see it here, as Lo Spinoso will slowly walk up to this free kick. Kupo heads it behind her to Bronco. Bronco. Good job just dribbling around Cohen, and the Bobcats did a great job of holding possession here, and down goes Vanderbosch and Chokol, and Chokol's called for a foul. They'll play fast now. Burns out to the far side to Swires. Under 5 minutes to go. Swires now with some speed. Swires hands off to Daly. Daly going to send over to Harnett. Harnett just going to send it forward. Over the head of Alves. Rogers now with a great chance ahead of the box. Rogers cuts inside and sent away by Aisling Spillane. Spillane may have just saved the Bobcats there as Rogers was cutting inside on her strong foot. But a corner for the Saints.
The Saints right now, if they want this goal, they want to have this scoring opportunity to count, they really need to make an emphasis on it. Plenty of time left, 4 minutes left in this game. There's still time to score a goal for the Saints, but they have to make sure this is the opportunity they do it.
Harnett. Cross comes in. Nothing on the first touch. Daly trying to get it back to Harnett. Harnett puts it back in the box. And Lo Spinoso able to make the easy save. And Lo Spinoso will go to the ground and take her time getting up. '87th minute now. Harrington. Kroos. Bagnall. Good play by Mandler to take that one, and Mandler will just clear away, and now you're going to see the Bobcats just clear. Last few minutes of play. Bobcats looking to hold on to that 1-0 lead. Stowe trying to get to it. Harnett now back and show clear, but this one will go out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in. Costello to Bean. Bean with it. Her throw in, headed by Daly. Gagno, Bean, off of Kroos. Bronco will take the shot, and Burns makes the save. Good opportunity there from Bronco. Had the space, took the shot. Burns now going to send this one forward. Rogers plays it down. Contact made there. Alves. Daly. Now Bagno. Here comes Sienna up the field now, sending it forward to Rogers. Too far. And an errant pass there from Swires. It's to Lo Spinoza with possession. "90 seconds left. Lo Spinoza will take her time to send this ball up. Bronco, good touch. Gagno sends it forward, and Kupo's there. Harnett takes it away. Vanderbosch. Now over to Harrington. 1 minute to play.
There's 1 minute remaining in the game.
Swires sending it forward. Alves with a nice header to clear it away. Bagno trying to play it down. Harrington back to Vanderbosch. Harnett with it. Harnett looking to send forward. Costello has it. Costello clears. That ball will roll all the way down, and that couldn't have been placed any better for the throw-in. Burns now with it. Less than 30 seconds. Sienna. It's a halfway. Costello heads it back again. Vanderbosch trying to send it forward to Cohen. Cohen blocked by Bean. Out of bounds. One more chance here. 10 seconds. Cohen. Daly.
6, 5, 4.
Daly back out. Spillane. Spillane clears down the field, and that'll do it. The Bobcats win their fourth in a row, their fourth shutout in a row, their second MAC win of the season. The Bobcats win this one thanks to Madison Alves by the score of 1-0. The Siena Saints just could not get anything at the last 5 minutes or so, and the Bobcats pull the win. Brittany, talk a little bit about the game and what we saw in the second half.
This game, was the first quarter, it really started really flat for both teams. They were kind of struggling to get into that groove. Coming into the second quarter, we saw the Bobcats start to come out with a fire, and all because of Melina Barranco coming off the bench, being that impact player, setting up these great plays for the Bobcats. Madison getting the corner kicks, getting Madison Alves that chance to score off the header, really coming off stronger on the offensive side, and just finally finding a way to put the ball in the back of the net. Siena really struggled right now on their offensive side. They couldn't clear the ball from their defense. They couldn't keep the ball in their offensive third, and they just didn't have great scoring opportunities.
The Bobcats hold on for this one with a 1-0 win. Again, that puts them at 4-2-1 on the season. Second MAC win, another strong win. Fourth shutout in a row. The Bobcats are rolling, and they are looking very strong. Siena moves to 5-5 on the season, and we'll head into more MAC play. That's going to do it here in Hamden. Another beautiful day for soccer.
We should take a look around MAC standings.
Might as well take a look around the MAC standings.
So today, we say Sacred Heart played Manhattan. That score is not updated yet. But right now, Fairfield is taking on Niagara University. Fairfield up 4-1. There is still 10 minutes left in that game. If we move to the next game of the day, we have Merrimack playing Iona. Iona up 3-1. That game's almost over. 3 minutes left in that game. We move to the next one. We have Canisius playing St. Peter's. St. Peter's up 1-0 going into halftime. And for the last game of the day, we also have Marist playing Mount St. Mary. Mount St. Mary up 1-0 going into half. If we look at current MAC standings too, we see in first place we have Fairfield and Canisius. We have in first place Fairfield, Canisius, Siena, Marist, all tied 2-0 in MAC play. In the middle of the pack, we see Niagara, going to be Quinnipiac moving up to 2-0 too. Merrimack tied all with one win in MAC play. And then towards the end, we have Ryder, Manhattan, St. Peter's, Mount St. Mary's, Iona, and Sacred Heart with no MAC wins yet.
It looks like Fairfield's still going to be that team for the Bobcats when it comes to the team to beat in terms of who will try to take on the Bobcats in stopping them from their looking to go back to back to back. But that will do it here in Hamden. The Bobcats final score 1-0 over Siena, sending it back to the guys in the studio.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
And we are back on Bobcat Game Day for the post-game show. Quinnipiac wins this one 1-0. Not quite the offensive shootout that I thought it would be, so I'll take the loss on that one. But Bobcats get the win. Your over stays intact.
That's right.
Quick post-game thoughts, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Bobcats get it done, but Siena proved that they could be a threat. They proved me wrong a little bit from my initial pregame takes on the Saints. I mean, they hung with the defending champs and probably what many people would consider the best team in the MAC.
And this could be a potential first-round MAC tournament matchup because of that 8-team playoff now. The 1-8, 2-7 matchup is potential for Quinnipiac and Siena. So just for the Saints, proving that they can compete, I'd like to see how they would play Fairfield as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wound up being exactly what I thought. A defensive battle that Quinnipiac comes out on top of. They did exactly what I said that they needed to do at halftime. Keep doing exactly what they were doing, which was creating their chances, creating their opportunities, and I knew that at some point they were going to get it.
And I know you never want to be happy after a loss, but Siena should not get too down on themselves for coming into Hampton and playing a one-goal game with the Bobcats. I mean, that's as close as it's going to get.
Yeah, and they defensively struggled for a lot of the year, so this is a good showing for them on that.
And absolutely, because we know that here at the Quinnipiac Soccer Stadium, both teams are pretty darn strong on their turf, and they do a really good job. So Siena being able to limit Quinnipiac to only one goal after the insane defensive display that they did put up, really good.
All right, let's take you guys through it. The Saints and Bobcats will start back into the first half. Again, both these teams came into it with a 3-game winning streak. Bobcats snapped it first half, 3 minutes in. Look from the corner. Madison Alves going to go up for the header. Can't get it to go. It'll bounce over, away, and Siena clears the look. That great defense you were talking about. Now, corner kick for Quinnipiac. Kupo gets a header, and it misses just above the crossbar. Here's Catherine Rogers for the Saints. Diving stop by Sofia Lospinoso to keep things scoreless. On to the second. Milena Branco, great look, hooks in off the bar and just misses. But here, Madison Alves off the corner, header down. It gets deflected, but on review, that ball went in. Her first goal of the season. Look at that.
Close call there. Unlucky if you're the Saints.
On to the second. Mingachos with the... And the Bobcats win it 1-0. So, guys, any additional thoughts after that?
I mean,
what a save at the end.
Yeah,
oh
my God.
That is a great
to lock
save,
it down.
Yeah. The Bobcats had a couple chances there to add on. Siena did a good job limiting the production.
12-4 in corners. That, to me, is the story of the game. Alves, in the first half, you saw it there in the highlight, had a chance to score, just missed it, tipped away. In the second half, she didn't miss.
And at halftime, we said it, right? The Bobcats had the advantage in corner kicks then, and they had a couple near chances in that first 45, and then they took advantage in the second half.
This is a typical soccer match where you see one team just constantly pressuring and the other team has to adjust and only attack on the counterattack for the most part. And this is normal that if you have a really good team, you're not going to give up that many goals, which shows volumes for Siena.
So now, Madison Alves scores the game winner. How impactful has she been for this team this year, and how impactful will she be going forward?
I mean, I talked about it in pregame. I think she has the potential to be the best defender in the MAC by next season. Dave Clark said it. She is not used to playing on the back line, especially so important being in the center back position. She has a great chance to develop even more. Mentioned the Crystal Dunn comparison. 7th most in minutes last year played. 4th so far entering this contest. And she makes an impact on both sides of the field. Scored the goal, had another chance in the first half we already mentioned. And also being able to get back on defense. There's times where players will get past her and forwards have a great chance to score, and she comes out of nowhere and just cuts down the angle, does a great job, has a great sense in defensive awareness to be able to take the perfect route and get in front of it and break up a play.
Yeah, she's obviously listed as a midfielder, but becoming a premier defender for the Bobcats so far this season. One thing that stands out about Alves is her versatility, right? Her ability to play both sides of the ball and both sides of the field. And she has shown the ability to really endure all 90 minutes of a game, playing all 90 minutes in a couple of the Bobcats campaigns so far this season. I mean, Alves has been a great player so far in Hamden, but after her leap from her first season to her second season, she seems to have stepped up another level so far this year.
Yeah, she's a heck of a player for Quinnipiac women's soccer to be able to rely on. She has 3 assists on this season already, which just shows that she has the distribution to help out the team. And talking about minutes played, after playing 1,310 minutes last season, she's already played 476 minutes. And she's played over 80 minutes in 4 different games this season. So
yeah.
She just proves a very reliable option.
And like you guys mentioned, the physicality that she brings to the pitch is insane. I've seen her run over opposing players multiple times over the past few seasons.
And usually is disciplined with it too.
Oh yeah, it's fully clean,
And
but she just is so much more physical and has so much more muscle than every other player out there that she can just get past them.
That's definitely something that you need in this sport, is someone on the pitch that's going to be able to lay the body and throw around the physicality to just kind of disrupt your opponent and make them uncomfortable.
Now, moving on to the Saints. How do they use this loss, like you said, close loss against a really tough opponent, to push themselves forward?
I mean, starting off, I think you say, hey, we just went into the defending champ's house, right, on one of their biggest games of the season, right, and hung right with them. Played 45 minutes of even soccer on the scoreboard, at least, and only lost by 1 goal surrendering that late in the second half. I mean, Siena did all they could today, and this is a team that's going to continue to grow throughout the season goes on. So the Saints, they can't get down on themselves after this one.
And we mentioned how young of a team they are. Their core is young. Stoll, Rogers, who all had a couple great chances so far today. Their next game is against Fairfield. It's at home. It's going to be a great prove-it game, but they already showed that they can compete with a top-tier MAC opponent. And even if they lose to Fairfield and drop to 2-2 in the MAC, those are the 2 toughest teams you're going to play. There's no harder team left on the schedule now and come tournament time. So for me, I think this is a perfect thing to see. You see how close you are to these top-tier MAC teams, experienced MAC teams at that. And I just think that there's more positives than negatives for the Saints today, even though they dropped this 1-1 net.
And you kind of look after they take on Quinnipiac, they take on Fairfield, and then Merrimack was that third team that I kind of circled. Oh, this could be a struggle for Siena. Merrimack lost again today. I mean, they're starting to struggle. Flip the switch with Siena maybe overtaking them on the MAC power rankings.
I think the defense, controversially, I think the defense is going to come out of Hamden being the happier side rather than the offense. The offense, we knew they have the offensive production to just go out there and dominate a game, scoring the 11 goals in 2 games. But knowing that the defense came into Hamden, limited the Bobcats to 1 goal on the away turf, that really is going to prove crucial for them. And that back line, their goalkeeper, they're going to have some serious momentum and confidence going in.
And that offense, if anything, should just build upon this. I mean, they didn't really play that well, all things considered, but they did still have some great chances, as we saw in the highlight.
Yeah, they still had plenty of opportunities to know that they're still fine. They're still clicking. It's just their time needs to come.
Yeah, it seemed a little bit like it was more Quinnipiac just outplaying them on the defensive end because Dave Clark is a defensive mastermind back there. And the fact that they were able to get such good looks was an impressive thing for such a young team. We are going to take a quick break here on Bobcat Game Day. When we come back, we'll take a look around the league to get you the rest of those scores. Stick with us.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
I tell my son, I love you every single day. Now, my dad has never said that to me. Not because he doesn't love me, but because culturally it wasn't comfortable for him. Now that he's a grandfather, he says, I love you to my son every time he sees him. My advice to all the fathers out there, forget the cultural restrictions. They grow up way too fast for you to waste even a single precious moment.
As a dad, every day is a challenge. To make sure that the time that I have, I spend with them. It doesn't matter how tired you are, you have to try and to teach them. When they learn something new, and you can just see in their faces, it's such an incredible moment. It's those moments that are my favorite.
Welcome back to Bobcat Game Day. We'll take a look around the MAC now. Like we said earlier, Iona took down Merrimack, defending their home turf. 3-1 victory for them. Marissa Graziano and Kadarja Lewis both got goals in the first half. Iona got a little bit back in the second. Ella Cormier got a penalty kick to hit the back of the net, but they can't get it done. Gales go down at home. Meanwhile, in Fairfield, they look dominant as ever, right? 4-1 victory up at Niagara. I know we've talked about the Niagara effect in the past. Clearly, it didn't affect the Stags.
Not at all.
Because they went out and crushed them.
I got flamed for saying that they might win the MAC. I don't know.
Yeah, I may have been a little too harsh on you for that because they looked like MAC championship contenders. Sam Kersey got her first goal of the season. Theriault, again, 6th goal of the season. Manhattan and Sacred Heart end in a 1-1 tie that game in Manhattan.
Sacred Heart couldn't get it done.
Was that the one you called as a draw?
That's the one I called as a draw.
Look at this kid. This kid knows his stuff. And then Marist and the Mount. That game is 1-0 at the half. Sidoni Clark with the goal in that one. No score yet in the St. Peter's Canisius game. So guys, taking a look at the road ahead for the Bobcats. Which games do you think are going to be the most impactful? Seb, you want to start us off?
Looking ahead with these next 5 games, I think the most important for the Bobcats is going to be that 5th game against Canisius. I talked about it previously, how going to Canisius could prove difficult because Canisius has won. They haven't lost on their home turf recently, and so that could be big for the Bobcats. They could struggle there. That could be where Zach Naffa's over-under gets absolutely spoiled with a loss or a draw.
If we're going to bring up over-under, can I just mention Morgan Kupo played 73 minutes today? So she's on pace.
Didn't score, though.
Didn't score,
though.
But the minutes at least she's on pace. I would say that, for me, I would go with the Canisius game in Canisius. They were 3rd in the MAC last year, just behind Quinnipiac and Fairfield. They were 6-2-2 in MAC play. So I'm going to go with the Golden Griffins. Bobcats having to go on the road early on in MAC play.
Let me bring up one more stat because that one's on the road. Quinnipiac this season, 0-2 on the road.
Are they playing the MAC opponents yet?
Still, though, it shows.
They played Georgetown, who's really good.
Have they won on the road? No,
they haven't.
They're 0-2. So
it's a whole different animal once you get to conference
And
play.
that trip up to Buffalo is one of the tougher road trips on the schedule. So I do agree with you. I think
it's a long ride.
I think that Canisius game is going to be big because A, they're a very good soccer team. B, it's a long road trip. Beckett, what do you think?
Let's sweep it across the board. That Canisius game certainly stands out to me. And then disregarding the limitation of the next 5 games, that last game of the season.
That's going to be a playoff game, essentially.
That is going to be an absolute electric atmosphere at Fairfield. The Bobcats taking on the Stags. That should be one to watch out for.
That'll be the battle for the 1 seed. I may be saying they're running the table, but I think Fairfield enters that contest with maybe 1 loss, maybe a draw. Whoever wins, that's going to be the number 1 seed.
And that's the second game that spoils your over-under. So.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in on Bobcat Game Day. Our coverage for the afternoon has come to an end. Special thank you to QBSN broadcaster Zach Tarenko and Brittany Brown-Lieben for the call today. thank you to everybody working hard behind the scenes. This show would not have been able to come together without you. Be sure to stay up to date with all things Q30 Sports on X, and stay tuned for the next Bobcat Game Day. Have a good afternoon.